Chapter 679. Qi Guofan was the master of the Qi family and had the absolute right to speak. He confirmed Qin Haodong's identity, which was a final decision. Qi Yuhu did not dare to say anything else. Qi Yulong was overjoyed and said, "Master, I think we should go to propose immediately and settle the marriage between our two families as soon as possible." Qi Yuhu said, "Even if our Qi family wants to accept this marriage, so many things have just happened. It's not appropriate to go and propose now, isn't it?" As soon as he finished speaking, the phone rang. It was Qi Yubiao, the third son. Among the second generation of the Qi family, Qi Yubiao was in charge of the entire intelligence system of the Qi family, so everyone else had to turn off their phones during the meeting except for him. Qi Yubiao glanced at the phone number on his mobile phone and then pressed the answer button. 2 minutes later he hung up the phone, looked up at Qi Guofan and said, "Master, we just got the latest news. The masters of the Zhao family, the Wei family and the Han family personally came to propose marriage to Chu Xianyue." Qi Guofan's face changed and he asked, "The 3 old foxes came to propose marriage. What kind of marriage?" Qi Yubiao said, "Chu Xianyue only has one son, Qin Haodong. Of course they proposed marriage to Qin Haodong. The Zhao family proposed marriage for Zhao Qinggu, the Han family proposed marriage for Han Jiu and the Wei family proposed marriage for Wei Yanran. They all want to marry their granddaughters to Qin Haodong." Qi Yuhu cried, "How is that possible? Qin Haodong just took away the daughter-in-law of the Zhao family. How could they propose marriage so soon? Don't they want to lose face?" Qi Guofan glared at him with a gloomy face and said, "Second brother, you still don't know what's more important. You really disappoint me. What's the point of losing face? A man can be flexible. If Qin Haodong really becomes the grandson-in-law of the Zhao family, it means that he will get the help of 5 9th-level supreme power masters. At that time the Zhao family will soar to the sky. Who will dare to laugh at them?" Seeing that his father was becoming more and more dissatisfied with him, Qi Yuhu quickly shut up. It seemed that he had completely failed today. Qi Yulong said, "Master, the other 3 families have already come to propose marriage. We should also hurry up." Qi Yubiao said, "Judging from what happened today, Qin Haodong is very dissatisfied with our Qi family. I'm afraid it won't end well if he comes to propose marriage at this time." After he finished speaking, everyone present fell into silence. It was true that the Qi family had made the decision to marry Qi Wan'er to Zhao Hongquan. This must have made Qin Haodong very angry, and he would not have a good impression of the Qi family. After a moment of silence, Qi Guofan said, "It's nothing. I'll go there in person and apologize first. Then I'll propose marriage. I believe Qin Haodong can't refuse me." It was one thing for the patriarch to personally come to propose marriage, but he actually had to personally come to apologize. In their memories, no one had ever received this kind of treatment. This caused everyone to reveal a trace of astonishment. Qi Yuhu's lips moved a few times. He wanted to say something, but when he thought of the scolding just now, he hesitated and closed his mouth. At this time Qi Guiyin, the first elder, said, "Master is right. We must seize this opportunity. After all, Wan'er is with Qin Haodong now, so he can't go too far." Qi Guofan nodded and said, "There's no time to lose. I'll go there now to propose marriage." In the Chu family, Chu Shanhe gathered his direct descendants together and briefly told them about Chu Xuanyue's situation. "What? That little bastard is not dead?" As soon as he finished speaking, a sharp voice sounded. It was Chu Shanhe's wife, Chu Xuanyue's mother, Jin Suing. This old lady was a descendant of the late Qing dynasty. It was said that her family was of royal blood and her mother was the previous generation's Gij. When the Chu family started, they relied on the power of the Jin family to a large extent, so she had a very high status in the Chu family. Even Chu Shanhe had to give her some respect. Because of this, Jin Xiuing had always been arrogant, paid attention to rules, and attached great importance to face. Moreover, she valued sons more than daughters and doted on her 2 sons. However, she did not treat Chu Xianyue well at all. Especially after Chu Xianyue ignored the family's opposition and got together with Qin Zongheng and gave birth to Qin Haodong, Jin Xiuing hated her even more. When Chu Shanhe attacked Qin Haodong and expelled Chu Xianyue from the Chu family, to a large extent, it was because of Jin Xiuing's influence. Chu Xuanli said, "Well, Mom, it's been so many years. Why do you still care about it?" Jin Xiuing said angrily, "No way. How did that little bastard survive? We must find out the truth. Can't our dignified Chu family handle such a small matter?" After that, she shouted to the outside, "Old man, come in." The door opened and an old butler in his 60s came in. He was Uncle Wang, the butler of the Chu family. "Madam, what's the matter?" Uncle Wang said. You still have the face to ask? Jin Xiaoying roared. Back then the family master asked you to kill the bastard that Chu Shenhua gave birth to. You came back and told me that you had already killed him. Now that bastard has appeared in the capital alive. Tell me what the hell is going on. Uncle Wang's expression changed greatly. He did not expect that after so many years, the past would be mentioned again. Jin Xiaoying cried, "Tell me, did you kill him or not?" After hesitating for a moment, Uncle Wang said, "Madam, I watched Miss grow up. The child was so young that I really couldn't do it at that time, so I sent him out of the capital. A relative happened to be going to Jiangnan, so I asked him to take the child away and find a suitable family to send him out." Bastard. Jin Xiaoying flew into a rage. "You eat and drink from our Chu family, but you can't even handle such a small matter. What face do you have to stay in our Chu family?" At this time Chu Shanhe could not stand it anymore and said, "Forget it. It's been so many years. He has worked hard in our Chu family even if he doesn't make any contributions. Let's forget about this matter." "No." Jin Xiaoying roared again, "You gave birth to a daughter, but you didn't care about the family's face and gave birth to a little bastard. Now even the butler doesn't obey you. Is there any rules in this family?" Uncle Wang sighed and there was a flash of sadness in his eyes. He bowed and said, "Master, Madam, I'm really wrong in this matter. In addition, I'm old and weak so I can't work for the Chu family anymore. Please find someone else." After that, he bowed to Chu Shanhe and turned to walk out. Looking at his stooped back, Chu Xuanli could not bear it. He went forward to pull him and said, "Uncle Wang, don't go." He turned his head and said to Jin Xiaoying, "Mom, Uncle Wang has been working hard in our family all these years. Even if he doesn't make any contributions, he has worked hard. Why do you have to do this?" Jin Xiaoying cried, "As a butler, he doesn't listen to the master's orders. Such an unruly person doesn't deserve to stay in our Chu family. First, young master, don't force yourself. I'm really old and weak these years. It's time for me to go back and retire." After that, Uncle Wang did not stay any longer and walked straight out of the door. After Uncle Wang left, seeing that Jin Xiaoying's expression had eased a little, Chu Shanhe said, "It's been so many years. Today, let's discuss how to bring Shenhua back to our Chu family." As soon as he finished speaking, Jin Xiaoying cried out, "Why should we bring her back? Our Chu family has been living well these years when she wasn't around." Chu Xuanli said, "Mom, it's not right for you to say that. No matter what, Shenhua is your biological daughter. She can't always drift around like this." Now things have been made clear. Yuan Tianren was talking nonsense back then. The so-called land of fairies was a trick to deceive people. It was a complete misunderstanding. It's not easy for my sister to be alone all these years. Since the misunderstanding has been solved, we should bring her back to the Chu family." Hearing her son's words, Jin Xiaoying snorted coldly and her tone finally eased a little. She said, "Well, Shenhua can come back, but that bastard definitely can't. He's a wild child who was born without any status. He definitely doesn't know any rules. If he comes to our Chu family, I'll be furious." Chu Shanhe said, "That's not right. No matter what, Qin Haodong is our grandson. The most important thing is that this child is very promising now. He is already a 9th-level Supreme Power Realm expert. He will be of great help to us." When he said this, he was also very helpless. The Chu family seemed to be doing well now. It was one of the 7 great families in the capital. In fact, he was very clear about the hidden danger, which was that there was no successor. He had 2 sons. The eldest, Chu Xuanli, was kind-hearted. If this was an ordinary person, it would be an advantage. But as the master of the Chu family, it was not enough to be kind-hearted. He lacked scheming and shrewdness. The second son, Chu Xianming, was very smart and shrewd. Unfortunately, he was short-sighted, treacherous and narrow-minded. This kind of person was also not suitable to be the master of the family. Even so, Chu Xuanli and Chu Xianming were much better than the 3rd generation of the Chu family. In the 3rd generation of the Chu family, basically all the people who grew up were rich playboys and none of them could be of great use. In terms of martial arts, the 2 9th-level Supreme Power Realm experts, Chu Shanchuan and Chu Shanhai, were already old and did not have much time left. Below them there was no successor. Not to mention the 8th-level Supreme Power Realm experts, there was not even a 7th-level Supreme Power Realm expert. The most powerful descendant of the Chu family was only at the 6th level of the Supreme Power Realm. In the past, when faced with this kind of situation, Chu Shanhe could do nothing even if he was anxious. But now it was different. He suddenly had a grandson who was at the 9th-level Supreme Power Realm. If Qin Haodong could join the Chu family, not only would he be able to quickly strengthen the Chu family, but he would also be able to guarantee the future of the Chu family. After all, Qin Haodong was only in his 20s and he was in the prime of his life. He could ensure that the Chu family would prosper for at least 50 years. Based on this idea, he was eager to take Chu Xinyue back to the Chu family. In fact, his daughter was not his goal. What he ultimately wanted was Qin Haodong to join. But Jin Xiuying obviously did not understand his difficulties. She was not a martial artist and did not care about the family affairs. Everything was based on her own preferences. I don't care if he is a 9th-level Supreme Power Realm expert or not. I only know that he is a wild child who grew up outside. He definitely does not understand the rules of our big family. Such a person must not enter our Chu family. Chapter 680. Chu Shanhe frowned. Although he was usually a henpecked man, this was a matter of life and death for the family. He could not let Jin Xiuying do whatever she wanted. Listen to me on this matter. My daughter must be brought back and my grandson must also be brought back. Seeing that his mother was about to object again, Chu Xuanli immediately said, Mom, don't care about this anymore. If he doesn't understand the rules, we can teach him. If he doesn't, we can learn from him. After all, he is my sister's flesh and blood. It's only right to bring him back to our Chu family. Chu Xinming had been watching from the side. He was very shrewd and had not spoken before. At this time, he saw that Chu Shanhe had made up his mind and knew the significance of a level 9 Supreme Power Master to the Chu family. He then said, Yes, Mom, our Chu family is a big family and we don't lack 1 or 2 people. It's not bad to bring our little nephew back. Seeing that the father and son were in agreement, Jin Xiuying finally chose to give in and said, Well, since you agree to bring them back, then bring them back. But remember, you must learn the rules of our Chu family in the future. Chu Shanhe said, Since no one has any objections, I'll go to find Xinyue now and bring them home. Jin Xiuying widened her eyes and cried, What? It's already a great gift for our Chu family to bring them back. Why do you, the head of the family, have to invite them in person? Could they be His Majesty? Chu Shanhe said, It's been more than 20 years. As a father, it's not bad for me to bring my daughter back. Absolutely not. It's against the rules of our Chu family. Chu Shanhe said with annoyance, Then what do you think we should do? Jin Xiuying said, What else can we do? With their status, we can just send a servant to call them back. Of course not. Judging from Qin Haodong's treatment of Yuan Tianren, Chu Shanhe knew that this young man was decisive and clear about gratitude and grudges. Because of what had happened in the past, he would definitely not have a good impression of the Chu family. If they just sent a servant, it would be impossible to bring Qin Haodong back to the Chu family and it would be counterproductive. Chu Xuanli said, Well, I'll go and bring my sister back. Is that okay? Jin Xiuying snorted coldly and did not say anything else. Chu Shanhe thought for a while. Although he, the family master, did not show up in person, Chu Xuanli and Chu Xinyue had a good relationship since childhood, so it was not impossible to send him there. Chu Shanhe said, Well, go there. You must take your sister home no matter what. In the Qin family, Qin Zhanao, the master of the Qin family, was sitting in the main seat with a big smile on his face. He was so happy that he couldn't close his mouth. Patriarch, what's wrong? Why are you so happy about their wedding? Qin Feiyang looked at his father in confusion. His father had just attended the engagement banquet of the Qi family and the Zhao family. After he came back, he called for a family meeting. Why was he so happy? Qin Zhanao said excitedly, Feiyang, of course I'm happy because our Qin family is going to have a joyous occasion. A joyous occasion. Qin Zhanao had 2 sons. The eldest was Qin Feiyang, and the second was Qin Zongheng. Hearing this, Qin Feiyang asked curiously, Then tell me, what's the good news of our Qin family? Qin Zhanao said, Today the engagement banquet of the Qi family and the Zhao family did not go well. In the end, the girl of the Qi family was kidnapped. Patriarch, although the alliance between the Qi family and the Zhao family is not a good thing for our Qin family, their engagement banquet was ruined. You don't have to be so happy, do you? The middle-aged man who spoke was called Qin Feiyu. He was also a direct descendant of the Qin family. His father, Qin Zhanlong, was the first elder of the Qin family and Qin Zhanao's cousin. He was a 9th-level Supreme Power Master. Of course not. I'm not that narrow-minded. Qin Zhanao said, The reason why I'm so happy is that the person who kidnapped the bride is a member of our Qin family. He is your brother's son and my grandson. He is the blood of our Qin family. Ha. After saying that, he burst into laughter again. What? Zongheng's son? Is there finally any news about my second brother? Qin Feiyang asked excitedly. Qin Zhanao stopped smiling. He shook his head and said, "There's no news about that brat yet," but his son, Qin Haodong, officially recognized Chu Xianyue at the engagement banquet of the Qi family and the Zhao family today. Qin Feiyang suddenly became nervous. "Father, you said that Qin Haodong is my second brother's son, but if he recognizes Chu Xianyue, I'm afraid that the old ghost of the Chu family will hunt him down again. No matter what, our Qin family can't stand by this time. We have to protect my second brother's bloodline." Qin Zhangnao said proudly, "Don't worry about this. It's good enough that my grandson doesn't make trouble for them because he is now a 9th-level Supreme Power Master." He took Qi Wan'er away in front of the two old ghosts of the Qi family and the Zhao family, but none of them dared to do anything about it. Speaking of this, he laughed again. Hearing that Qin Haodong had reached the 9th-level Supreme Power realm, Qin Feiyang's face was full of joy. He was happy for his second brother and nephew, but Qin Feiyu, who was next to him, looked gloomy. Ever since he was a child, everyone in the capital knew that Qin Zongheng was a peerless genius of the Qin family, but no one knew Qin Feiyu. All the favor of the family was concentrated on Qin Zongheng, and he had always lived under Qin Zongheng's halo. All of this ended after Qin Zongheng ran away from the marriage. Without Qin Zongheng, Qin Feiyu stood out in the Qin family. Now he was a master at the 8th-level Supreme Power realm, and he was the most popular candidate for the successor of the family master. His son, Qin Chong, was now the best of the third generation of the Qin family, and his cultivation had reached the 4th-level Supreme Power realm. It could be said that the halo left by Qin Zongheng had been completely replaced by them. Everything was so beautiful, but now Qin Zongheng's son suddenly came back and had reached the 9th-level Supreme Power realm. He had such achievements at such a young age, which undoubtedly made him and his son look inferior. If such a genius entered the Qin family, there would be no place for them. He was afraid that the position of the family master would belong to Qin Haodong in the future. Qin Zhangnao and his son were both excited, and no one noticed the change in Qin Feiyu's expression. Qin Feiyang said excitedly, "Master, where is Haodong now? We should bring him back immediately." Qin Zhangnao said excitedly, "You're right. I'll go there myself now and bring Haodong back to our Qin family." Qin Feiyu said, "Master, although it's a good thing that Haodong is back, you are the master of the Qin family and his grandfather. It's not appropriate for you to go there in person. How about this? I'll go there for you and invite him back." Qin Zhangnao thought for a moment and said, "What you said makes sense. Then I'll trouble you. But Haodong has suffered a lot outside and may be dissatisfied with our family, so you must persuade him to come back to our Qin family willingly." "Don't worry, master. I can handle such a small matter." Then Qin Feiyu turned and walked out of the door. In the Tang sect, after the masters of the Han family, the Zhao family and the Wei family were all sent away, Chu Xianyue called Qin Haodong over excitedly and asked, "Son, which of these 3 marriages do you like?" Her words were full of excitement. It seemed that she wanted to agree to all 3 marriages at the same time. "Mom, do you still think that you don't have enough daughters-in-law?" Qin Haodong shook his head with a wry smile and said, "I've never seen the people they proposed. Which one can I like? And these 3 old foxes obviously came with a purpose, so we don't want any of these marriages." Chu Xianyue said with a regretful face, "Son, you haven't seen the girls of these 3 families. They are really beautiful. It's a pity not to marry them." Qin Haodong was speechless and said, "Mom, you only have one son. You can't marry a beautiful girl, can you? Besides, no matter how beautiful they are, can they be more beautiful than your current daughter-in-law?" Thinking of the daughters-in-law she had just met, Chu Xianyue said with a smile, "That's true. My daughter-in-law is no worse than the 3 beauties of the capital." While the mother and son were talking, the security guard at the door ran in again and said, "Boss, there's another motorcade outside the door. They say that they are from the Qi family and they want to see you. It's the Qi family's motorcade. Could it be that Qi Guofan is here?" Qin Haodong frowned and said to Chu Xianyue, "Mom, I'll have to trouble you this time. I guess Qi Guofan must be here for Wan'er. No matter what he says, we should delay this kind of thing if we can. Don't give him any results for the time being." Chu Xianyue said, "Don't worry, son. I'm the best at dealing with this kind of thing." Qin Haodong nodded and left the living room again, leaving it to Chu Xianyue. Not long after the security guard left, Qi Guofan walked in from the outside with a smile on his face. "Niece Xianyue, I came without an invitation. Sorry to disturb you." Compared with the masters of the other 3 families, Qi Guofan directly called Chu Xianyue his niece, and the relationship between them was much closer in an instant. "Don't mention it. It's an honor for you to come to my humble house." Chu Xianyue had been working alone for many years and had rich experience in dealing with all kinds of occasions. She asked Qi Guofan to sit down and said after a few polite words, "Master Qi, what can I do for you?" Qi Guofan said, "I came here today for two purposes. First of all, I want to apologize to Haodong. It was indeed my fault for what happened to Waner this time. I didn't seriously consult Waner's opinion in advance and directly arranged a marriage between her and the Zhao family. Because of this, I want to apologize to Haodong in person and admit my mistake." Chu Xianyue said, "There's no need to apologize. You are an elder and it's all over. I think Haodong won't care." Qi Guofan said, "Niece Xianyue, is Haodong at home? I want to apologize to him in person." Chu Xianyue was quite surprised. She did not expect Qi Guofan to be so humble. As the master of the family, he personally came to apologize to her son. She said, "Haodong just went out to do something. He's not at home." Chapter 681. Oh. Then I'll apologize in person when I have the chance in the future. Qi Guofan said, "Xianyue, I have another thing. Since the two children are already together and their relationship is very clear, I want to propose in person and settle the marriage of the two children. What do you think?" After hearing what he said, Qin Haodong immediately understood what he meant. Every family master was extremely cunning, and Qi Guofan was no exception. It was obvious that the Qi family wanted him to work for them through this marriage. Even if he didn't do anything, they could still raise the flag of marriage and rise in the capital. After all, no aristocratic family dared to provoke the strength of 5 ninth-level supreme power masters. If he hadn't forced Qi Waner to get engaged to the Zhao family, it wouldn't have been a big deal to help the Qi family. But after this incident, he was extremely disgusted with the Qi family. If it weren't for his strong strength, Qi Waner would have been forced to marry Zhao Hongquan at this time. He didn't want to let such a big aristocratic family take advantage of them at all. However, he had stolen the bride in public. Now that he and Qi Waner were together, it was reasonable for them to propose the engagement. It was really difficult for him to refuse. He didn't know how his mother would deal with it. In the living room, Qi Guofan said again, "Although I'm old-fashioned, I'm not stubborn. I understand the behavior of young people nowadays. It's okay even if they live together before marriage. However, we are also a prestigious family. It's not good for the two children to live together in such an unclear way. If the marriage is settled, it will be perfectly justifiable for them to be together." Chu Xianyue said, "Master Qi, what you said is very reasonable. I think so too." Qi Guofan was delighted and hurriedly said, "Xianyue, do you have any objection to this marriage? Waner is a good girl. I like her very much. How can I have any objection?" Just when Qi Guofan thought that Chu Xianyue was going to agree, he heard her change the topic. "Master Qi, it's just that the child's engagement is a big deal. I'm just a woman, so I can't directly make a decision for my son. Well, when the child's father comes back, as long as Zongheng enters the house, I will immediately tell him about it, and then we can get engaged in a grand way." Qi Guofan almost spat out a mouthful of blood. Qin Zongheng had disappeared for more than 20 years. Although there was news of his return a few days ago, there was no news at all after that. No one knew when he would return. "Niece Xianyue, look, this is just an engagement. I think you can make the decision on your own. There's no need for you to come back, right?" Chu Xianyue shook her head and said, "Master Qi, you just said that we are all big and prestigious families. Everything is decided by the men. For such a big thing as engagement, we must follow the family etiquette and wait for his father to come back." Qi Guofan had only heard that Chu Xianyue was extremely powerful. Today he had personally experienced it. However, he was not willing to give up just like that. With a cold face he said, "Niece Xianyue, if that's the case, I don't think it's convenient for Waner to live in your house. After all, it's not legitimate. How about this? I'll take her back first. When Zongheng returns and our two families settle the marriage, it won't be too late to let Waner come over." Chu Xianyue sneered in her heart. This old fox was using Qi Waner to force her to abdicate. She was not anxious or annoyed. She said with a smile, "Master Qi, I also think what you said makes sense. But now Waner and Haodong have gone out. I don't know when they will come back. They may come back today or in 10 days or half a month. If you have nothing to do, wait here for a while. When Waner comes back, take her away immediately." This time Qi Guofan was completely dumbfounded. He had been beaten black and blue by Chu Xuanyue's Tai Chi, but he had no strength to fight back. His granddaughter was a member of the Qi family. Unfortunately, her heart was not with the Qi family now, but with her son, which made him powerless. He smiled awkwardly and said, "Well, let's leave it at that for the time being. When Haodong comes back, apologize on my behalf and tell Wan that the door of the Qi family will always be open to her. She is welcome to return to the Qi family with Haodong. Chu Xianyue said happily, Master Qi, don't worry. I can still do such a small thing. It was meaningless for Qi Guofan to stay any longer, so he left the Tang sect with his people. As soon as he left, Qin Haodong came over from the side and gave Chu Xianyue a hug. He said with a smile, Mom, your Tai Chi is so beautiful. I guess Wan'er's grandfather's lungs are going to explode with anger, but he can't say anything. Of course. Don't you know who I am? Speaking of this, Chu Xuanyue's face suddenly darkened. She said bitterly, I really don't know where your father is now and why he hasn't come back yet. You're about to get married, but there's still no news from him. Now that we're reunited, he's the only one left. Mom, don't worry. I guess after the news of my return spreads, Dad will come back soon. Qin Haodong said so, but he was not sure at all. According to the news from the deep web, Qin Zongheng was either no longer alive or hiding in some deep mountain forest. The possibility of him knowing that he was still alive was very small. While the mother and daughter were talking, the security guard at the door ran in again. There were too many people visiting today, which made him very busy. Boss, someone from the Chu family wants to see you. Hearing this news, the mother and son looked at each other. Chu Xuanyue's expression immediately changed. She only has eyes for her son and those self-righteous rules of hers. Speaking of this, her eyes were a little wet. Other mothers had endless tenderness for their daughters, but her mother did not. She only had coldness. Chu Xuanli said embarrassedly, Little sister, don't blame Mom. She's just like that. It doesn't matter whether I blame her or not. Chu Xianyue said, the most difficult time for me has passed. Now that I have a son, what's the need to go back? But the Chu family is your home after all. Chu Xuanli still wanted to say something, but Chu Xianyue directly interrupted him and said, Elder brother, don't say it. The Chu family has kicked me out. This is my home. Little sister, do you really not want to go back? What happened in the past was all a misunderstanding. It's really a rare opportunity for Mom and Dad to agree to let you go back. I'm afraid that in the future. Chu Xianyue said, Elder brother, you're a good person, but you're too honest. Do you think Mom and Dad let me go back because of family affection? That's not it at all. They want Haodong to work for the Chu family because my son is promising. That's why they let us go back. If my son was still an ordinary person, they wouldn't even look at me. Whether it was a misunderstanding or not, it doesn't matter to them. Although Chu Xuanli was loyal, he was not a fool. After hearing Chu Xuanyue's words, he understood the key. Seeing that his sister really had no intention of going back, he sighed regretfully, All right then, since little sister is sure that you don't want to go back, then I'll leave. He could tell that Chu Xianyue was determined not to go back to the Chu family, so he got up and was about to go out. Uncle, wait a minute. Qin Haodong next to him, he suddenly stopped Chu Xuanli. Chapter 682. Chu Xuanli turned around and asked in surprise, Haodong, have you changed your mind? Do you want to go back to the Chu family with me? Qin Haodong shook his head and said, Uncle, my mother has the right to decide whether to go back to the Chu family or not. If she says she wants to go back, I will go back with her. If she doesn't like the Chu family, then she won't go back. Chu Xuanli said with a little disappointment, Then what do you want? As long as I can do it, I will definitely do it for you. Qin Haodong smiled and said, Uncle, I'm not asking you to do anything. I just want to ask, have you been stuck at the 6th level of the Supreme Power Realm for a long time? Haodong, do you know my cultivation? Chu Xuanli was slightly surprised. It seemed that his nephew still paid attention to the Chu family. Otherwise, how could he know his cultivation? He added, It's extremely difficult to break through from the 6th level of the Supreme Power Realm to the 7th level. I've been stuck here for 5 years. I've thought of many ways, but I still can't break through the bottleneck. He was not very talented in cultivation and could not be compared with geniuses like Qin Zongheng. But he was a down-to-earth person and focused on cultivation. In this way, he had also reached the 6th level of the Supreme Power Realm. He was also one of the best among the 2nd generation of the Chu family. Qin Haodong said, Uncle, if you don't mind, you can cultivate here. Maybe I can help you break through. Really? Haodong, can you really help me break through? Chu Xuanli asked in surprise. He had indeed been stuck here for too long. No problem, it shouldn't be difficult. Well, thank you, Uncle. After Chu Xuanli finished speaking, he sat down cross-legged and began to cultivate without any distractions. This was the difference between people. He was honest and trustworthy. Although it was the first time he had met his nephew, he trusted him 100%. If it were his younger brother, Chu Shenming, he would immediately be suspicious and all kinds of ideas would come to mind. Qin Haodong wanted to help his uncle because of his mother's words just now, but the premise was that Chu Xuanli had full trust in him. Seeing his uncle's state, he secretly nodded in his heart and carefully observed Chu Xuanli's cultivation state. Chu Xuanli calmed himself down and began to break through the bottleneck of the 6th level of the Supreme Power Realm. Although they were both at the Supreme Power Realm, there was a watershed between the 6th and 7th level of the Supreme Power Realm. It was extremely difficult to break through, so he had been stuck at this level for 5 years. Today he tried a few more times, but that calm and indestructible city wall still couldn't be shaken. Just as he was about to give up, he suddenly heard a clear shout. The voice wasn't loud, but it sounded like a clap of thunder in his ears, causing the city wall to instantly collapse. Then, a warm current was injected from the Baihui acupoint on the top of his head and combined with his genuine qi. In an instant, he broke through the bottleneck of the 7th level of the Supreme Power Realm and officially stepped into the 7th level of the Supreme Power Realm. Chu Xuanli was delighted, but he also knew that it was not the time to be distracted. He quickly got rid of the distractions and began to concentrate on stabilizing his cultivation. After a while, his cultivation had completely stabilized at the 7th level of the Supreme Power Realm. Just as he was about to stand up, Qin Haodong said, "Uncle, eat this. I'll help you again." After saying that, a pill full of spiritual energy appeared in his mouth. Now Chu Xuanli trusted and admired his nephew, so he swallowed the pill without hesitation. The spirit culturing pill melted in his mouth. In the blink of an eye, his genuine qi, which had just calmed down, boiled again and turned into a rolling torrent that rushed to his limbs and bones. Chu Xuanli ran his genuine qi again and found that the genuine qi in his dantian was getting stronger and stronger. It even faintly rushed to the bottleneck of the 7th level of the Supreme Power Realm. How is this possible? Does my nephew want me to break through again? Is this really okay? At this time, Qin Haodong's voice came into his ears. "Uncle, calm down. I'll help you again." Chu Xuanli didn't think too much about it and just focused on running his cultivation. His genuine qi tried to break through the bottleneck of the 7th level of the Supreme Power Realm several times, but it still couldn't move and slowly lost its momentum. At this moment, another spirit culturing pill was stuffed into his mouth. His genuine qi was like a car filled with oil. The motor roared again and it roared to break through the bottleneck for the second time. Chu Xuanli was extremely surprised. He didn't know what kind of elixir his nephew had given him. It had such a powerful effect. In order to break through the bottleneck of the 6th level of the Supreme Power Realm, he had spent a lot of money. He had bought a lot of elixirs, but they were less than 1% of this elixir. After taking 3 spirit culturing pills in a row with the help of Qin Haodong, there was finally a crisp sound in Chu Xuanli's mind. The bottleneck of the 7th level of the Supreme Power Realm instantly turned into nothingness. His genuine qi surged and his momentum suddenly rose. 8th level of the Supreme Power Realm. In just an hour, Qin Haodong had forcibly raised Chu Xuanli's cultivation by 2 levels. Of course, this was also because Chu Xuanli had stayed in the 6th level of the Supreme Power Realm for a long time and had a solid foundation. If it had been anyone else, they might not have been able to reach this level. After finishing his cultivation, Chu Xuanli jumped up from the ground. Feeling the strength in his body, he said excitedly, "Haodong, thank you so much. You actually helped me improve so much." Qin Haodong said, "Uncle, this is nothing. It's also your lucky chance." That was indeed the case. If it were not for Chu Xuanli's full trust in him, he would not have been able to reach his current level. "Haodong, what kind of elixir did you just give me?" "This elixir is called Spirit Culturing Pill. It's very good for improving cultivation." Chu Xuanli said excitedly, "Do you still have any elixirs? I want to bring some back for your grandfather and second uncle. They have also been stuck in the bottleneck for a long time." Qin Haodong secretly shook his head. His uncle was really loyal and lovely. He always thought of others when he encountered good things. However, his mother had said that in the whole Chu family, only this uncle in front of him truly cared about her. Naturally, others were not worth such precious elixirs. He said, "Uncle, you have made so many breakthroughs in a row. After you go back, you need to stabilize your foundation. You can't use the spirit culturing pill in a short time. When your cultivation is completely stabilized and you need to break through to the 9th level of the Supreme Power Realm, you can come to me to get the elixir. As for the others, I don't have any extra elixirs for them. In my eyes, I only care about you. I don't care about my grandfather and second uncle." Chu Xuanli instantly understood. Qin Haodong only recognized him and not the Chu family. He shook his head helplessly, then said goodbye to Chu Shenyue and Qin Haodong. turned around and left the Tang sect. As soon as he left, Chu Xianyue, who had been smiling, immediately showed a lonely look. The Chu family was her home. Although her parents did not dote on her, she had lived there for more than 20 years. Her relatives and childhood memories were there. It would be a lie to say that she did not want to go back, but she did not want to go back to the Chu family casually. Qin Haodong understood his mother's feelings very well. He said, "Mom, do you want to go back and have a look?" Chu Xianyue shook her head and forced a smile. "No, it's good here. Why should I go back to that cold home?" Qin Haodong said, "Don't force yourself. Since you want to go back and have a look. But don't worry, I will definitely let the Chu family take you back in glory." Chu Xianyue nodded slightly. In the past, she had completely lost hope for the Chu family and thought that there was no possibility of going back in this life. But now that she had an outstanding son, everything had become completely different. In the Qin family, Qin Feiyu came to the parking lot. Just as he was about to get in the car, he saw an SUV speeding over. After the car stopped, a young man jumped out of the car with an angry face. This man was Qin Feiyu's son, Qin Chong, the eldest young master of the Qin family. Seeing that his son was not in a good state, Qin Feiyu asked in surprise, "Chong, are you back? Why do you look unhappy? Who made you angry?" Qin Chong said angrily, "Dad, have you heard that Qin Zongheng's son is back? Keep your voice down." Qin Feiyu looked around to make sure that there was no one around and said in a low voice, "Watch your words. Qin Zongheng is the son of the family master and your uncle. The family master will be very unhappy if he hears you being so presumptuous." Qin Chong snorted coldly, "What's the big deal about a man who has disappeared for more than 20 years? Qin Feiyu said, "Son, what's wrong? Did Qin Zongheng make you angry?" "Of course he won't make me angry. It's his son who made me angry." Qin Chong said angrily, "I've been pursuing Wei Yanran for 3 years and I was about to get a result. But I didn't expect that Qin Zongheng's son, Qin Haodong, would suddenly appear. Just now, I heard that the master of the Wei family, Wei Junce, personally came to propose marriage to Qin Haodong. Don't you think it's a robbery? How dare he steal the woman I like?" "The Wei family actually came to propose marriage to Wei Yanran?" Qin Feiyu asked in surprise. "When did this happen?" "Just now, I heard that not only the Wei family but also the Han family and the Zhao family came to propose marriage. I really don't know how this boy named Qin Haodong can make the 3 beauties of the capital come to propose marriage together. The most annoying thing is that he has many girlfriends. He just stole Qi Wan from the Qi family and now he wants to steal my Yanran. How can I swallow this? Is this accurate?" Qin Feiyu was still a little confused. Even if Qin Haodong was a level 9 supreme power master, it was not enough for the 3 great families to be so humble and compete to marry their granddaughters to him. He did not know how strong Qin Haodong was now. Just now, Qin Zhanao did not tell him about the other 4 level 9 supreme power masters under Qin Haodong. The old man had his own considerations. If he only invited Qin Haodong back, it would seem that he valued family ties. But if he made all of Qin Haodong's strength public, the Qin family would think that he did not value family ties but interests. Qin Chong said, "How can this be false? It's absolutely true." Qin Feiyu thought for a moment and said, "It's nothing. Your grandfather just asked me to find Qin Haodong and invite him back to the Qin family. I'll help you ask him later." Chapter 683. Hearing that his father was going to look for Qin Haodong, Qin Chong said, "I'll go with you. I want to see if this guy has 3 heads and 6 arms. How dare he steal my woman?" "All right then." Qin Chong was one of the best among the young generation, so Qin Feiyu doted on his son very much and agreed directly. "Son, don't be impulsive later. I heard from your grandfather that Qin Haodong is already a level 9 supreme power master. We can't afford to offend him." Qin Chong was now at the 4th level of the supreme power realm. He had always been complacent about his martial arts talent. When he heard that Qin Haodong had reached the 9th level of the supreme power realm, a look of jealousy flashed through his eyes. So what? He must have had some luck to reach his current realm. His foundation must be unstable. Moreover, my grandfather is also a level 9 supreme power master. There's no need to be afraid of a young man who has just advanced. His grandfather, Qin Zhanlong, was the first elder of the Qin family and a level 9 supreme power master. Qin Chong, who was spoiled, had always been arrogant. Even if he heard that Qin Haodong was a level 9 supreme power master, he did not take him seriously. Subconsciously, he felt that Qin Haodong's level 9 supreme power master was definitely not as good as his grandfather's. As a leading figure among the 2nd generation of the Qin family and a strong competitor for the next family master, Qin Feiyu had always been arrogant and did not take his son's attitude too seriously. Moreover, he thought that if Qin Haodong returned to the Qin family, he might pose a threat to his position as the heir of the family master. Therefore, he felt that it was necessary to warn his nephew first so that Qin Haodong would obey the rules after returning to the Qin family. At least he should know how to respect his third uncle. When they arrived at the gate of the Tang sect, they were stopped by the security guards at the gate. Zhang Tiniu was in charge of the duty today. He came over and asked, "You too, this is the Tang sect. Who are you looking for?" Qin Chong said arrogantly, "Is Qin Haodong here? Ask him to come out and pick us up." He was the young master of the Qin clan. Wherever he went he would be looked up to. But here he couldn't even enter the door. This made him extremely unhappy. Zhang Tiniu frowned. He was extremely dissatisfied that this young man dared to call his boss's name directly. However, he hadn't figured out the origins of the two people in front of him, so he didn't lose his temper. He asked again, "May I know your name so that I can report to the boss?" Qin Chong said discontentedly, "How arrogant. He's just a bumpkin from the countryside. He really thinks he's a big shot in the capital." Qin Feiyu said, "We're from the Qin family. Tell Qin Haodong that his third uncle is here and ask him to welcome him." "Alright, please wait a moment." Because of the special situation, Zhang Tiniu didn't send security guards after saying that, but went to find Qin Haodong himself. Qin Haodong was talking with Chu Xianyue. Seeing Zhang Tiniu enter the door, he asked, "What's the matter?" "Boss, there are two people at the door. They said they are from the Qin family and want you to go out and greet them. They also said that your third uncle is here." A sneer appeared at the corner of Qin Haodong's mouth. The Qin family was so ostentatious. Up to now, the masters of the 5 great families had come to visit one after another, but none of them dared to ask him to go out and greet them. This man called third uncle really took him seriously. Just like the Chu family, he didn't like the Qin family at all. For the sake of the family's marriage, they separated his father and mother, which led to his father's disappearance. For so many years the Qin family had been indifferent to him. They didn't even care whether he was alive or dead. Even when the Chu family attacked him, the Qin family didn't stop them. Because of this, he had already determined that as long as his father didn't come back, he would not admit that he was a member of the Qin family. He was very clear about the purpose of the Qin family's visit. They saw that he was no longer an abandoned baby, but a strong man who could control the situation of the entire capital. Therefore they wanted him to return to the Qin family and work for them. If they had come to his door politely, he might have given them some benefits on account of the fact that they were from the same sect. He did not expect that 2 idiots would come to his door and even want him to go out and receive them. Did they have the qualifications? He was very clear about his principles. As long as his relatives were good to him, he would not dislike them even if they were beggars. They didn't do anything for him and didn't do anything for him. They just wanted to get benefits from him because of their blood relationship. Even God wouldn't get used to them. He said to Zhang Tiniu, "Go and tell them to come in by themselves or go back." "Yes, boss." Zhang Tiniu always followed Qin Haodong's orders. Soon he came to the door and said to the arrogant father and son of the Qin family, "Our boss said either you come in or go back." Qin Feiyu was waiting for Qin Haodong to come out and greet him, but he didn't expect such a sentence. For a moment he was a little confused. He didn't expect that his nephew, whom he had never met, would be so hot-tempered and not give him any face. Not only him, but Qin Chong also didn't come to his senses for a while. The father and son of the Qin family were all famous figures in the capital. When had they ever been treated like this? "Bastard, how can this guy be so arrogant?" After a while, Qin Chong roared angrily. He turned to Qin Feiyu and said, "Dad, this kind of person who doesn't know how to respect his elders and doesn't know the rules is not qualified to enter our Qin family. Let's go back." In his subconscious mind, he thought that it was a kind of kindness to let Qin Haodong enter the Qin family. He thought that Qin Haodong should be more than happy to do so. After all, Qin Feiyu was smarter than him. He slowly calmed down after his anger. He originally wanted to take advantage of the power of the Qin family to intimidate Qin Haodong, but he didn't expect that Qin Haodong wouldn't fall for it at all. Now the situation was a little awkward. It was the family master's order to invite Qin Haodong back to the Qin family. If he went back without even seeing Qin Haodong, he was afraid that Qin Zhanao wouldn't let him go. After hesitating for a while, he said, "Let's go in." Qin Chong was not convinced and said, "Dad, Qin Haodong treated us like this. Why should we go to see him? Could it be that without him, the Qin clan can't survive? Since he's here, we have to see him. Besides, don't you want to ask about Wei Yanran?" Qin Feiyu said to Zhang Tiniu, Lead the way. Thinking of Wei Yanran and Qin Haodong's marriage, Qin Chong did not say anything else and followed Qin Feiyu to the Tang sect. In the living room, Qin Haodong showed up this time while Chu Shenyue hid. After all, it was the Qin family's business, so it was best to let Qin Haodong deal with it. He sat on the sofa and slowly tasted the fragrant tea in the cup. He didn't get up to greet Qin Feiyu and Qin Chong until they walked into the living room. Qin Feiyu looked at the young man who looked like Qin Zongheng and knew that he was Qin Haodong. He said coldly, "Qin Haodong, don't you know how to respect your elders? Shouldn't you go out to greet your elders?" Qin Haodong continued to taste the fragrant tea in the cup as if he didn't hear him. After a long time he put down the teacup, looked up and said, "Who are you? Are we familiar with each other?" Qin Chong suddenly became angry and said angrily, "Qin Haodong, why are you pretending? We're from the Qin family and my father is your third uncle." Qin Haodong said indifferently, "What does the Qin family have to do with me?" Qin Feiyu stopped Qin Chong, who was about to lose his temper, and said, "Haodong, it has nothing to do with you before, but it will be in the future. We're here today to tell you a piece of good news. The old master wants you to return to the Qin family. You'll be a descendant of the Qin family from now on. In terms of seniority, I'm your third uncle and this is my son, your cousin, Qin Chong." Qin Haodong frowned slightly. He really didn't know what the master of the Qin family, who was also his grandfather, was thinking. Did he really think that he was a little pug who would come and go at any time? Did he really think that he would go back obediently just because he sent someone to inform him? What did he think the Qin family was? Was it the imperial palace or the paradise? Seeing that Qin Haodong did not speak, Qin Chong thought that he was shocked by the good news. He said proudly, "But it's not that easy for you to return to the Qin family. You have to promise me a few things." Qin Feiyu hesitated for a moment, but in the end he did not stop his son. Qin Haodong glanced at him as if he was looking at an idiot and asked sarcastically, "Then tell me, what can I do to return to the Qin family?" Qin Chong said, "First of all, you have to apologize to us for your disrespect just now." Qin Haodong sneered and said, "First of all, there must be a second condition." "What's the second one?" Qin Chong said, "Is the Wei family here to propose marriage?" Qin Haodong nodded and said, "Yes, Wei Junce wants to marry his granddaughter Wei Yanran to me." Qin Chong said, "Wei Yanran is the woman I like and you don't deserve her. The second condition is that you must refuse this marriage and publicly declare in the capital that you don't deserve Wei Yanran." After hearing what he said, Qin Haodong immediately laughed. Qin Chong said angrily, "What are you laughing at? What's so funny? Why didn't you marry the woman you like earlier? Why are you still waiting for the master of the Wei family to propose marriage to me?" Qin Chong was speechless for a moment. He did like Wei Yanran, but Wei Yanran had always been indifferent to him and did not take him seriously, let alone marry him. Qin Haodong sneered and said, "You're so useless that you can't even get a woman. Now you're forcing me to give up the marriage proposal." "What? To tell you the truth, I didn't care about the marriage of the Wei family at first, but after hearing what you said, I'm interested. I want to meet Wei Yanran one day. If she can accept me, I'll take her into my family." How dare you?" Qin Chong said angrily, "If you do that, you won't be able to marry into the Qin family." Qin Haodong sneered and said, "Do you really take the Qin family seriously? Do you think I care about it? Let me tell you, even if the Qin family invites me with a sedan chair, I won't go back. How dare you ask me for conditions? It's ridiculous." Chapter 684. Seeing that things were not going as smoothly as he had imagined, Qin Feiyu stopped Qin Chong and said, "Haodong, it's your grandfather's idea to let you go back to the Qin family." "My grandfather?" Qin Haodong said sarcastically, "I've been an orphan since I was a child. I've never even seen my father. How could I have a grandfather?" At this time, Qin Feiyu had no time to suppress Qin Haodong's prestige. He said patiently, "I know you have emotions. Blood can't be changed. No matter what, you're the descendant of the Qin family." Qin Haodong sneered and said, "The descendant of the Qin family? Then let me ask you, what were the Qin family doing when the Chu family wanted to kill me when I was still a baby? Did they ever think that I was the descendant of the Qin family at that time? When I was abandoned as an orphan and was adopted, what were the Qin family doing? Did they ever look for me? Did they ever think that I was the descendant of the Qin family? It's been 21 years since I was born. Did the Qin family look for me during this period? Did they ever think that I was the descendant of the Qin family? Now that I'm back in the capital and I'm already a 9th level Supreme Power Master, you want to admit that I'm the descendant of the Qin family. Have you ever asked for my opinion? Why should I enter the Qin family? That so-called grandfather, apart from forcing my family to break up, what else did he bring to me? Why should I recognize him? Why should I recognize the Qin family? Well, Qin Feiyu was speechless. At this time he realized a key problem. Qin Haodong was strong enough now. He didn't need to rely on the Qin family at all, nor did he need to get benefits from the Qin family. What reason did he have to come back? In addition, as Qin Haodong said for so many years, the Qin family had not done anything for Qin Haodong. They had not given him any help at all. At this time, Qin Chong, who was next to him, shouted, "Qin Haodong, I don't care whether you go back or not, but you must leave Wei Yanran today. Otherwise I won't let you off." Qin Haodong glanced at him and said with a sneer, "Then tell me, why won't you let me off?" Qin Chong cried, "Don't think that you're great just because you've reached the 9th level of the Supreme Power Realm. My grandfather is also a 9th level of the Supreme Power Realm and he's much more powerful than you. If you leave Wei Yanran obediently, I'll let it go. If you don't know what's good for you, I'll ask my grandpa to destroy your cultivation. Then I'll see if you can still be so arrogant." Qin Haodong didn't want to pay attention to this self-righteous playboy. He waved his hand to Zhang Tinyu and told him to throw him out. "Qin Haodong, how dare you?" As the eldest young master of the Qin family, Qin Chong had never been treated like this. However, Zhang Tinyu's fan-like big hand had already grasped him. "Get lost!" Qin Chong shouted angrily. He raised his hand and punched out fiercely. He was a 4th-level Supreme Power Master and one of the best of the younger generation of the Qin family. He had always been proud and arrogant. In his opinion, this punch was enough to kill the security guard in front of him. However, he didn't expect that Zhang Tinyu would stretch out his left hand and easily take the punch. Zhang Tinyu's right hand grabbed his neck without hesitation. After his neck was grabbed, Qin Chong felt that he had lost all his strength in an instant. Then Zhang Tinyu opened the window and threw him out. Qin Feiyu was shocked. He didn't expect that a security guard of the Qin family would have such an outstanding cultivation. He was so angry that he slapped Zhang Tinyu's face. Zhang Tinyu was now at the 5th level of the Supreme Power Realm, which was much weaker than Qin Feiyu, who was at the 8th level of the Supreme Power Realm. However, at the moment when Qin Feiyu attacked, Qin Haodong's powerful momentum suddenly burst out. An invisible force, like a powerful hand, controlled Qin Feiyu's body and threw him out of the window. Qin Feiyu was so scared that his face turned pale. Although he knew that Qin Haodong was a 9th-level Supreme Power Master, he had never expected that he was so powerful. After being thrown out of the window, the force that trapped his body disappeared in an instant. Then a majestic voice sounded in his mind, "I'll let you go for the sake of my father's generation. If you dare to fight in the Tang sect again, I won't let you off easily." Qin Chong fell to the ground and his face was covered with dust. He was extremely angry. He had always been very proud of his cultivation and had never thought that one day he would be beaten like this by a security guard. The most unfortunate thing was that as soon as he got up from the ground, a black shadow hit him and knocked him to the ground again. Qin Chong got up from the ground and found that it was his father who had also been thrown out. The father and son looked at each other and they were in a mess. Qin Chong said with hatred, "Dad, I won't let this guy go." Qin Feiyu said with a frightened face, "Son, don't mess around. We're no match for him." He was now completely shocked by Qin Haodong's cultivation. He was an 8th-level Supreme Power Master, but he couldn't even take one move. Qin Chong said, "Dad, don't worry. I've already sent a message to Grandpa when I came here. I think he'll be here soon. When he arrives, he'll definitely help us take revenge." The father and son talked as they walked out of the door. At this moment, a figure came to the Tang sect as fast as lightning. After stopping, it was an old man with white hair and a long beard. "Grandpa, you're here." Qin Chong let out a cheer. After suffering so many grievances, he finally saw his family. The old man with a long beard was Qin Zhanlong, the first elder of the Qin family, a 9th-level Supreme Power Master. "Feiyu Chong, what's wrong with you?" He looked at his son and grandson and his face darkened. He strode into the Tang sect. Seeing that the old man was going to break in, the 2 security guards of Daddy's security company rushed forward to stop him, but Qin Zhanlong waved his sleeves and sent them flying. "Grandpa, we've been bullied like this by Qin Haodong. You must help us." Thinking that the woman he liked had been robbed and he had been taught a lesson by a security guard, Qin Chong held Qin Zhanlong's arm and felt extremely wronged. He cried with snot and tears. "Well, don't cry. You're almost 30 years old. What are you crying for?" Qin Zhanlong reprimanded Qin Chong and then said to Qin Feiyu, "What the hell is going on? What are you doing here? Who beat you up like this?" Doesn't he know that you're from the Qin family? Well, father, Qin Feiyu told him the whole story of how Qin Zhanao asked him to invite them. In the end, Qin Haodong threw them out because they didn't agree with each other. Qin Chong added fuel to the fire and said, Grandpa, did you hear that? Not only did Qin Haodong steal my woman, but he was also unreasonable. He didn't take our Qin family seriously at all. Qin Zhanlong's biggest characteristic was that he was protective of his children. When he heard that his son and grandson had suffered such a great grievance, his face immediately darkened. Qin Zongheng's son really thinks that he can do whatever he wants after entering the 9th level of the Supreme Power Realm. It seems that I have to teach him a lesson on behalf of my cousin today. After that, he used his power and used the lion's roar skill. He let out a thunderous roar in the courtyard of the Tang sect. Qin Haodong, you ignorant junior. Come out. I'll teach you how to behave today. His roar was indeed very powerful. At the first moment, everyone in the Tang sect heard it clearly. Qin Haodong walked out with a sullen face, followed by Feng Wu, Hu Shaoxian, Qi Wan and the Nalan sisters. After seeing him come out, Qin Feiyu hurriedly whispered in his father's ear, Father, this is Qin Haodong. You must be careful. His cultivation is very powerful. Qin Zhanlong waved his hand and motioned for Qin Feiyu not to worry about it. In his opinion, it was very commendable that Qin Haodong could reach the 9th level of the Supreme Power Realm in his 20s, but it was impossible for him to surpass his cultivation for so many years. Qin Haodong glanced at the three of them and sneered. He had heard Qin Feiyu's words clearly just now. It was true that the old man had come. This old man should be the grandfather of the 9th level of the Supreme Power Realm that Qin Chong had mentioned. However, he did not want to give face to Qin Zhanlong. He shouted coldly, Who is shouting in our Tang sect? Do you want to die? Qin Zhanlong said, Are you Qin Haodong? Yes, it's me. Qin Zhanlong said arrogantly, Boy, come here quickly. I'm your grandfather. Qin Haodong sneered, My grandfather? I've lived for more than 20 years. Why haven't I seen you before? Well, Qin Zhanlong's expression froze and then he said, No matter whether I've seen you or not, I'm still your elder. Your father, Qin Zongheng, has to call me uncle after seeing me. Shouldn't you call me grandfather? Qin Haodong said lightly, I'm sorry. I've never seen my father and I've never heard of him, so I don't know you. Please get out. For the sake of your age, I won't hold you accountable for breaking into our Tang sect this time. Qin Chong quickly seized the opportunity to step forward and said, Grandpa, did you see that? How arrogant is this boy? He doesn't take you seriously at all. Qin Zhanao's face darkened and he said angrily, Boy, don't think that you're great just because you have some cultivation. Today I'll teach you a lesson on behalf of your grandfather and let you know what it means to respect your elders. After that, he moved his feet and raised his hand to chop Qin Haodong's chest with his steel-breaking palm. A trace of sarcasm flashed across Qin Haodong's face. This old man was obviously taking advantage of his seniority, but there was no such chance in the Tang sect. He didn't bother to fight with this old man, so he directly waved his hand to the side. Nalan Wushuang, Nalan Wuxia, Hu Shaoxian and Feng Wu shouted and used their unique skills together to fight against Qin Zhanao. Feeling the powerful aura of the four people, Qin Zhanao was suddenly shocked. He only knew that Qin Haodong was at the 9th level of the Supreme Power Realm, but he had never thought that the four girls around him were also so powerful. Any one of them was not weaker than him. Especially Feng Wu, her powerful aura was even stronger than his. If he fought with Feng Wu alone, he was afraid that he would not be a match for her, let alone 1 against 4. In the blink of an eye, Qin Zhanlong was hit on the left and right shoulders by Nalan Wushuang and Nalan Wuxia. Hu Shaoxian kicked him in the thigh and Feng Wu poked him in the chest with one finger, directly sealing his acupoints. After being defeated in one move, Qin Zhanlong was completely dumbfounded. After living for so many years, he had never been defeated so miserably, and he had never met so many 9th-level Supreme Power Realm Masters. Qin Feiyu and Qin Chong were stunned, especially Qin Chong. Originally, he wanted to count on his grandfather to vent his anger for him, but he didn't expect that as soon as he reached out, he would be stopped by Qin Haodong, which made his heart completely collapse. Qin Haodong stepped in front of Qin Zhanlong and said with a smile, What do you think? Do you want to teach me a lesson? Qin Zhanlong cried, What's the point of winning with more people? If you have the ability, fight with me alone. Qin Haodong sneered and said, You're really stubborn. If you have the ability, find 4 9th-level Supreme Power Realm Masters to beat me. Chapter 685. Qin Zhanlong was speechless. Even if he found all the ninth-level supreme power masters of the Qin family, there were only 2 of them. How could they gather 4 of them to beat him? That was to say, it was also a show of strength and also a kind of capital. Not everyone could learn it if they wanted to. Qin Haodong stepped in front of him and his body instantly became cold. Old man Qin, as the first elder of the Qin family, you attacked me, a junior. This is called bullying the weak. You came to our Tang sect and shouted. You didn't care about your son and grandson at all. You directly wanted to stand up for them. This is called favoritism. Back then your family broke up my parents' marriage and ignored me for more than 20 years. Now you suddenly came to me and asked me to respect the elders. This is called bullying people with power. How should I deal with you based on these 3 crimes? As soon as he finished speaking, Qin Feiyu, who had just calmed down, said, Qin Haodong, you can't go too far. The first elder of our Qin family is your grandfather's brother. Qin Haodong turned his head and glanced at him. If you didn't speak, I would have forgotten about the 2 of you. As he spoke, he raised his hand and 2 sharp fingers shot out, directly sealing the acupoints of Qin Feiyu and Qin Chong. This time the grandfather and grandson were completely dumbfounded. They had originally come here to show off and ask Qin Haodong to break off the engagement, but in the blink of an eye, they had become prisoners. As the first elder of the Qin family, when had Qin Zhanlong ever suffered such grievances? He glared at Qin Haodong and said, Boy, let go of me. As long as you dare to touch us, our Qin family will not let you off. Qin Haodong sneered and said, Old man, you are really old and confused. How dare you use the Qin family to scare me? As long as I want, I can remove the Qin family from the capital in minutes. Thinking that there were 5 ninth-level supreme power masters standing in front of him, Qin Zhanlong was suddenly dumbfounded. This kind of strength could really destroy the entire Qin family in an instant. You can't mess around. I'm your grandfather. At this point he could only use his identity as a trump card. Qin Haodong ignored him and suddenly burst out with infinite killing intent. He said coldly, Listen you 3. Anyone who breaks into our Tang sect will die. Qin Haodong, you can't mess around. We are your elders. Feeling the monstrous murderous intent, Qin Zhanlong's face was livid. Qin Feiyu was so scared that he almost peed his pants. Qin Chong, who was next to him, was even worse. His whole body was trembling, his teeth were chattering, and he couldn't even say a word. Qin Haodong just wanted to scare them. He didn't really want to kill these 3 people. Anyway, these people were related to him by blood. Seeing that the 3 of them were almost scared, he instantly restrained his murderous intent, looked at Qin Zhanlong and said, However, you still have something to do with me. I can't be too ruthless, so I'll be flexible. Knowing that they didn't have to die, Qin Zhanlong and his grandchildren breathed a sigh of relief, but then they became worried again. They didn't know how this young man would deal with them. Qin Haodong said, In the past, there was a precedent of replacing one's head with one's hair. Today I'll learn from the rules of the ancients. I won't cut off your heads. I'll just shave your hair. Qin Zhanlong panicked when he heard that he had to shave his head. As the first elder of the Qin family and a 9th-level supreme power master, if his hair was shaved, how could he go out to meet others in the future? Moreover, although the old man's hair and beard were white, he looked very beautiful. He had always regarded himself as a child. If his hair was shaved into a big duck's egg, how could he go out to meet others in the future? Qin Feiyu was the same. He usually boasted that he was the heir of the next family master. If he lost his hair, how could he give orders and face the rest of the Qin family? Qin Chong also had a bitter look on his face. It took him at least half an hour to take care of his hair every day. He relied on his hair to make himself look elegant. He also relied on his hair to go out to drink and pick up girls. If he lost his hair, how could he explain to the young masters and ladies of other aristocratic families and pursue Wei Yanran? No, this is absolutely not possible. You can't touch our hair. Even though Qin Zhanlong and his grandchildren were reluctant, Qin Haodong ignored them. He reached out to grab the beauty thorn in Nalan Wushuang's hand and used the chaotic cloak saber skill. He shaved Qin Zhanlong's hair in a few strokes. Then he turned around and shaved off all the beard on his chin. As his beard and hair fell, Qin Zhanlong was completely dumbfounded. He was a 9th-level supreme power master, an admirable existence, but today he ended up like this. If he had known this, he would have stayed in the Qin family. Why did he come here to show off? Then Qin Haodong also shaved the hair of Qin Feiyu and Qin Chong. Looking at the 3 bald heads, he nodded with satisfaction and said, The effect is not bad. People can tell at a glance that it's a biological head. When the girls next to them saw the shiny bald heads of Qin Zhanlong and the other 2, they couldn't help but tremble with laughter. The three of them were embarrassed. If it weren't for the acupoints, they would have found a place to hide immediately. Qin Feiyu cried, "Qin Haodong, you've gone too far." Qin Haodong's face turned cold. "Have I gone too far? I'll spare you this time for the sake of the Qin family. If you come to our Tang sect again, I'll cut off your heads next time. Get out of here." As he spoke, he flicked his fingers and unsealed the acupoints of the three people with a few fingers. The three of them instantly regained their ability to move, but they did not dare to say anything. In the face of so many masters, if they didn't know what was good for them, they would lose more than just their hair. They turned around and fled, running out of the Tang sect in a hurry. In the Qin family, Qin Zhanao kept pacing in the lobby. If he could invite Qin Haodong back to the Qin family, it would be a completely different scene. The Qin family would flourish in his hands. With the 5 9th-level Supreme Power Masters in Qin Haodong's hands, it would be impossible for the Qin family not to become the first family. The more he thought about it, the happier he became. From time to time he laughed, which made the family members next to him feel a little creepy. At this moment, Qin Zhanlong and the other two came in from outside. Seeing the three shiny heads, Qin Zhanao was stunned at first, and then he recognized who they were. "What's wrong with you? Why is your hair gone?" He looked at Qin Feiyu again. "Where is he? Didn't I ask you to invite Qin Haodong? Did you invite him back?" Qin Zhanlong sat on the sofa next to him with a face full of shame. As the first elder of the family, he had lost a lot of face this time. Qin Feiyu stammered and said, Master, I didn't invite him back." As the master of the Qin family, Qin Zhanao was naturally smart. He immediately asked with a cold face, "What the hell is going on? Tell me the truth. Don't lie." Although Qin Zhanao was an 8th-level Supreme Power Master, his cultivation was not as high as Qin Zhanlong's, but the master of the Qin family had supreme authority and was supported and respected by everyone. Under his majesty, Qin Feiyu did not dare to hide anything. He told him how they got to Qin Haodong's house from the beginning to the end. "Nonsense." Qin Zhanao's face was full of anger. He slapped the tea table next to him and the good mahogany tea table was smashed into powder. "I asked you to invite him back. Who asked you to show off? Do you think I asked you to invite Qin Haodong back just because he is my grandson? It's because he is a 9th-level Supreme Power Master and he has 4 other 9th-level Supreme Power Masters in his hands. Do you know what this powerful strength means?" The more Qin Zhanao spoke, the angrier he became. His saliva flew all over Qin Feiyu's face, but Qin Feiyu did not dare to show any dissatisfaction. He also knew that he had made a big mistake this time. Why do you think the other 3 great families took the initiative to send their granddaughters to Qin Haodong? Even Zhao Zhangqiong, who had just been robbed of his granddaughter-in-law, did not hesitate to put down his pride and go to Qin Haodong's house to propose marriage. Do you think they are all stupid? What they value is Qin Haodong's powerful strength and unlimited potential. Anyway, Qin Haodong has a blood relationship with our Qin family. Compared with other families, he has a unique advantage. Now this advantage has been lost by you. On the contrary, you have become enemies. How do you think I should punish you? Well, only at this moment did Qin Feiyu realize how big the trouble he had caused. He lowered his head and did not dare to make a sound. "And you?" Qin Zhanao turned his head and said to Qin Zhanlong, "Young people are impulsive. As the first elder you are also impulsive. Now you have completely offended Qin Haodong. This is a great loss for our Qin family." Qin Zhanlong opened his mouth, but in the end he did not say a word. In the final analysis, what happened today was because he did not ask the right and wrong and protected his son and grandson. Otherwise, things would not have become like this. Qin Zhanao said to Qin Feiyu, "You have disappointed me this time. Hand over all the things in your hands first and then reflect on them for a month." This punishment did not seem to be too heavy, but Qin Feiyu's face was pale. He knew that his position in the Qin family was in danger and his power had been deprived. Qin Zhanlong only punished Qin Feiyu. After all, he took the initiative to invite Qin Haodong this time, so he should bear the main responsibility. Qin Zhanlong was his brother and a 9th-level Supreme Power Master. He had a high status so he could not go too far. As for Qin Chong, he was just a junior and did not take him seriously at all. After the punishment, the 3 of them left the hall. Qin Zhanao sat on the sofa helplessly. He was also responsible for this matter. The masters of the Wei family, the Qi family, the Han family and the Zhao family all went to see Qin Haodong in person, but he regarded himself as his grandfather. He was too arrogant and sent Qin Feiyu to see him. As a result, things became like this. In terms of blood relations, he was indeed Qin Haodong's grandfather. But as Qin Haodong had said, he had been standing by all these years and did nothing for his grandson. Now it was reasonable that they did not recognize him. He sighed and his heart was filled with infinite memories. He regretted that he should not have forced Qin Zongheng to leave and that he should not have watched the Chu family persecute his grandson. But it was useless to regret. There was no medicine for regret in this world. At this point he could only wait for a period of time. After Qin Haodong's emotions calmed down, he would personally go to apologize and admit his mistake. Maybe there was a little chance to redeem himself. When Chu Xuanli came back, Chu Shanhe, Jin Xiuying and the others were sitting in the hall, including the two 9th-level Supreme Power Masters of the Chu family, Chu Shanchuan and Chu Shanhai. It could be seen that these people were waiting for his reply. Although they had waited for a long time, Chu Shanhe was in a good mood. The longer Chu Xuanli left, the better it meant that he had talked with Qin Haodong and the greater the possibility of inviting him back to the Chu family. But when Chu Xuanli entered the door, he was alone. He could not help but ask eagerly, "Where are your sister and nephew? Why didn't you invite them?" The others also focused their eyes on Chu Xuanli, waiting for his reply. Chapter 686. Chu Xuanli told him what Chu Xianyue and Qin Haodong thought from beginning to end and then said, "My sister and nephew have no intention of returning to our Chu family for the time being." As soon as he finished speaking, Jin Xiuying shouted, "Our Chu family invited her, but she still put on airs. She really doesn't know what's good for her. An unruly mother with a bastard who grew up in a small place. It's fine if she doesn't come back. Otherwise, I won't be able to eat when I see her. That's right. It's such a great honor for our Chu family to send someone to invite her. How dare she put on airs? She really doesn't know what's good for her. That's right. No matter who she is, she can't be too good to her. Otherwise, she will be arrogant. Our Chu family is a first-class aristocratic family in the capital. We pity them by letting them in, but they dare to refuse. Don't they know that this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity?" Hearing that Chu Xianyue and Qin Haodong refused to enter the Chu family, the other members of the Chu family immediately became indignant. They began to talk about it and express their dissatisfaction. They were backed by the Chu family and had always been proud and arrogant. They always had a high and mighty mentality. In their opinion, it was a great gift to let Chu Xianyue and Qin Haodong come back. If the other party refused, they would be ungrateful. They did not realize that it was the Chu family who had taken a fancy to their strength and asked them to come back. Chu Xianming did not say anything. Although he vaguely felt that Qin Haodong's return would be of great benefit to the Chu family, he had relied on Jin Xiuying's favor to bully Chu Xianyue since he was a child. The relationship between the two of them was not harmonious. If the mother and son entered the Chu family, it would not be a good thing for him. Therefore he did not comment on the return of Chu Xianyue and her son and pretended not to hear it. Chu Xuanli felt sad. It seemed that it was right for his sister not to come back. These people in the Chu family really had no human feelings, which made him have an impulse to leave the Chu family. Chu Shanhe shook his head secretly. None of his descendants had foresight. Until now, they had not seen how important Qin Haodong was to the Chu family and even to the entire capital. At this moment, Chu Shanchuan, who was sitting next to him, looked at Chu Xuanli and his eyes lit up. He shouted, "Xuanli, come here and let me have a look." As the 9th-level Supreme Power Master and first elder of the Chu family, Chu Shanchuan's status was so high that even Jin Xiuying did not dare to provoke him. As soon as he spoke, everyone immediately quieted down and turned their attention to him. Chu Xuanli stepped up to Chu Shanchuan and asked, "Uncle, what can I do for you?" Chu Shanchuan first looked at Chu Xuanli, then touched his pulse and felt the genuine qi in his body. His face suddenly changed. "Xuanli, I saw that you were still at the 6th level of the Supreme Power Realm a few days ago. How did you reach the 8th level of the Supreme Power Realm so quickly? How did he do it?" At the late stage of the Supreme Power Realm, every small step forward was extremely difficult. Otherwise, Chu Xuanli would not have been stuck at the 6th level of the Supreme Power Realm for so many years. The same was true for the other juniors of the Chu family. There were no outstanding geniuses. Although the family was rich in resources, the highest cultivation under the three old men was only at the 6th level of the Supreme Power Realm, including Chu Xianming. Although he seemed to be very shrewd, his cultivation was the same as Chu Xuanli's. He was only at the 6th level of the Supreme Power Realm. Under such circumstances, Chu Xuanli was able to improve so much at once, so the whole Chu family was shocked. Another 9th-level Supreme Power Master, Chu Shanhai, said with a surprised look, Big brother, did you make a mistake? He can't jump 2 levels in a row, even if he takes an immortal pill. It's impossible. It's not just a little bit. How could I make a mistake? In order to prove himself, Chu Shanchuan said, Xuanli, punch me with all your strength. Chu Xuanli thought for a moment. After all, this kind of thing could not be hidden. He followed Chu Shanchuan's instructions and punched him fiercely. The full blow of a level 8 Supreme Power Master was like an avalanche. The fist wind raged in the surrounding air, with a sharp whistling sound, and hit Chu Shanchuan like a mountain. Seeing the power of his punch, the surrounding people were all shocked. They did not expect that Chu Xuanli could make such a powerful punch. Although Chu Shanchuan was a 9th level Supreme Power Master, his face was still serious. He slapped out with both hands and used soft force to dissolve Chu Xuanli's punch. This was also because of his ingenious technique. If the two of them had fought head-on, the burst of genuine qi would have destroyed all the decorations in the hall. Now everyone believed that Chu Xuanli was really a genuine 8th level Supreme Power Master. Chu Shanhai looked shocked and asked, Xuanli, what's going on with you? Could it be that you've been hiding your cultivation all this while? Chu Xuanli said with a wry smile, Second uncle, I only have so little cultivation. What else can I hide? I was indeed a level 6 Supreme Power Master before. No one doubted his words. For children of big families like them, the progress of their cultivation represented their interests and status in the family. Every time they improved a little, they were afraid that others would not know. How could they hide their cultivation? Chu Shanhe was originally worried about the Chu family's lack of successors. Now seeing that Chu Xuanli had suddenly made so much progress, he asked in surprise, Hurry up and tell everyone, what secret method did you use to make your cultivation progress so fast? As he spoke, his mind became active again. If Chu Xuanli really had a secret method to quickly improve his cultivation, it would be fine even if he did not invite Qin Haodong. Their Chu family could still be strong. Everyone's eyes were focused on Chu Xuanli, their eyes full of expectation. Chu Xuanming's eyes lit up and he said, Brother, if you have any secret methods, don't hide them. We are all members of the Chu family. You should share them with us. Chu Xuanli spread out his hands and said with a wry smile, I don't have any secret methods. If I did, I would have taken them out long ago. Chu Xinming said step by step, Brother, it's not right for you to do this. You and I were both level 6 Supreme Power Masters before. If there was no secret method, how could you improve so fast? You know, I have been stuck in the realm of level 6 Supreme Power for 7 years and I still can't break through. Although the others did not say anything, they all nodded secretly. They felt that Chu Xuanli must be hiding something. He had a secret method and was unwilling to share it with everyone. Seeing these people's eyes, Chu Xuanli knew what they were thinking. He knew that he could no longer hide it, so he said, To tell you the truth, when I left home, I was still a level 6 Supreme Power Master. But Haodong helped me improve. Not only did I break through the bottleneck of the level 6 Supreme Power Master, but I also improved by 1 level. My current cultivation of the 8th level of the Supreme Power Realm is completely built by him. What? It turned out to be Qin Haodong. Is it true or not? It's impossible. Is he an immortal? In just 1 or 2 hours he can make a level 6 Supreme Power Master become a level 8 Supreme Power Master. Isn't this too amazing? Oh my god, I didn't expect Qin Haodong to have such ability. He is my cousin. It seems that I have to get close to him and improve my cultivation. After Chu Xuanli finished speaking, the entire hall of the Chu family was boiling like an explosion. Some expressed surprise, some expressed doubt, some expressed jealousy, and some began to plan how to please Qin Haodong. Previously they were all opposed to Chu Xianyue and her son returning to the Chu family, but at this time they immediately changed their minds. They all wanted to quickly get closer to Qin Haodong and make him their relative. Although they had heard that Qin Haodong was a level 9 Supreme Power Master before, it had nothing to do with them. They even said that entering the Chu family would take away their current status. But now it was different. It was absolutely impossible to find a master who could quickly improve his cultivation. Moreover, he was their relative now. They would be fools if they did not seize the time to get closer to him. Chu Shanhe asked, Xuanli, are you sure you're not lying? How can I lie about this kind of thing? Besides, I have no other way to improve my cultivation except for Haodong's help. Chu Xuanli told him how Qin Haodong gave him 3 spirit culturing pills and how he helped him improve his cultivation. After that, there was a dead silence. 3 pills could help him improve his cultivation by 2 levels. This kind of method was really sensational. It was not an exaggeration to call it a divine skill. Master, I've already checked. Qin Haodong is known as the medical sage in Jiangnan City. He does have superb medical skills. It's not surprising that he can refine this kind of pill to improve his cultivation. The one who spoke was Chu Mingdao, one of the 3 generations of the Chu family. He was in charge of the intelligence system in the Chu family. Seeing that everyone's attention was attracted to him, he said, "And I did a detailed investigation. Qin Haodong's men were all injured soldiers before. They were not even warriors at all. But later he cured them and their cultivation was continuously improved. Now the lowest cultivation has reached the supreme power realm. They relied on the pills he constantly supplied. It can be seen that this person's medical skills are amazing. Great, it's really great. I didn't expect my cousin to have such superb medical skills. If we invite him back to the Chu family, then we don't need to cultivate anymore. We can directly improve by taking pills." Aunt Shenyue was originally a member of the Chu family. She is the direct descendant of our Chu family. It's reasonable to invite her back. I think we should invite her back. I think so too. Qin Haodong is our cousin. We should be closer to him. For a moment, everyone's attitude changed 180 degrees. They expressed their opinions to Chu Shanhe and unanimously requested to invite Qin Haodong and his mother back to the Chu family. These people could ignore family ties, but it was impossible for them to ignore the interest related to them. In their opinion, Qin Haodong was an endless treasure house. As long as they brought him to the Chu family, they would be able to get great benefits. Chu Xianming said, "Father, I think so too. It's not easy for my sister to raise the child alone. She has been wandering outside for so many years. We should let her live a stable life in our Chu family for a few days. And I think this matter can't be delayed. We should invite them back to the Chu family immediately." Chu Shanchuan and Chu Shanhai, the 2 level 9 supreme power masters, also had their eyes lit up. Qin Haodong's medical skills were so high that he might be able to help them break through their current realm and reach the Saint realm. Both of them were over 80 years old. With their current cultivation they might only have 10 or 20 years to live. If they could break through the threshold of the Saint realm, it would be different. Not only would they be able to enjoy the admiration of thousands of people, but they would also be able to live for decades more. Right at this moment an ear-piercing voice rang out. "I don't agree. No matter how powerful that Chen brat is, he's just a little bastard who doesn't follow the rules. We gave him face but he rejected us just now. We can't let him enter the Chu clan now." It was Jin Xiaoying who spoke again. She was not a warrior and did not know much about martial arts. It was just that she did not have a good impression of her daughter who had eloped with someone else. At the same time, she hated Qin Haodong's illegitimate grandson to the extreme. So when she opened her mouth he was still a bastard. Chapter 687. As the master of the Chu family, Chu Shanhe instantly captured the core value from Chu Mingdao's news. Even a group of injured ordinary people could be trained by Qin Haodong to become masters above the supreme power realm. If he could enter the Chu family with the resources of the Chu family and his medical skills, a large number of masters above the supreme power realm would be produced. It was only a matter of time before he dominated the capital. After understanding this he said to Jin Xiaoying, "Don't worry about this matter. Shenyue and her son must be invited back to the Chu family." Seeing that Chu Shanhe, who had always been obedient, did not take her opinion seriously, Jin Xiaoying said angrily, "No, I said no. As long as I'm alive, we can't let that bastard enter the Chu family." Seeing that Jin Xiaoying stopped Qin Haodong from returning to the Chu family, the others immediately glared at her. However, Jin Xiaoying's prestige was so great that they did not dare to say anything. "Shut up. Since when did a woman have the right to decide the Chu family's affairs?" It was Chu Shanchuan who spoke. If there was anyone in the Chu family that Jin Xiaoying was afraid of, it would be Chu Shanchuan and Chu Shanhai, the 2 level 9 supreme power masters. In terms of status, Chu Shanchuan was not only the first elder of the Chu family, but also the eldest son of the lineal line and the elder brother of Chu Shanhe. If he had not been obsessed with martial arts cultivation, Chu Shanhe would not have been the master of the family. In terms of cultivation, Chu Shanchuan was a level 9 supreme power master. If he wanted to attack Jin Xiaoying, no one would dare to stop him. Even if someone wanted to stop him, they could not. Chu Shanchuan disliked Jin Xiaoying's arrogance, but he had been busy cultivating and did not care about these things. But today was different. It could be said that inviting Qin Haodong back was a matter of life and death for the Chu family. It was also related to whether he could break through the current bottleneck and enter the ranks of the Saint realm. How could such an important thing be destroyed by a woman? Seeing that Chu Shanchuan had spoken, Jin Xiaoying's arrogance suddenly subsided a lot. She said embarrassedly, "Brother, you misunderstood. I just don't like that bastard style. If you don't like it, leave the Chu family. Chu Shanchuan said coldly, I don't care if you are arrogant to others, but if you dare to destroy the Chu family's great event this time, then get out of the Chu family. Yes, I know, big brother. Jin Xiaoying grew up in a big family, so she naturally knew the intrigue in the family. She knew who she should offend and who she should not offend. If she really angered Chu Shanchuan, he would probably kill her with a sword, and Chu Shanhe would not be able to stop him. Moreover, now that her maiden family had declined, the Jin family was no longer the Jin family of the past, so although her eyes were full of resentment, she could only swallow her anger. Seeing that the evil woman was finally honest, Chu Shanhe breathed a sigh of relief and said, It's settled then. I'll personally invite Xianyue and her son back now. Chu Shenming said, Father, why don't I go with you? I can persuade my sister when I get there. Chu Shanhe nodded and said, All right, then you can come with us. In addition, Xuanli, come with us again. Xianyue has a good relationship with you since childhood. Chu Xuanli said, Father, in terms of relationship, my sister has the best relationship with Uncle Wang. I think it's best to bring him along. Chu Shanhe thought for a moment and said, Well, go and tell Uncle Wang now and ask him to stay and continue to be the housekeeper of our Chu family. Then come with us to invite Xianyue back. Uncle Wang had been expelled from the Chu family because of Qin Haodong. Now, in order to invite Chu Xianyue back, Chu Shanhe asked him to stay. Jin Xiaoying widened her eyes and looked at Chu Shanchuan next to her. In the end, she held back and did not say anything. A wicked person would be tortured by another wicked person. Chu Shanchuan was his greatest nemesis. Uncle Wang was packing his luggage and had not left yet. In the end, Chu Shanhe, Chu Xuanli, Chu Xianming and Uncle Wang got in the car together and rushed to the Tang sect. Qin Haodong had just driven away Qin Zhanlong and his grandchildren when he saw Zhang Tiniu running in again. Boss, the master of the Chu family, Chu Shanhe, is here. He wants to see you and old madam. Qin Haodong had expected that Chu Shanhe would come. He knew that the Chu family would not give up so easily. He turned his head to look at his mother. It was best for Chu Xianyue to make the decision. Chu Xianyue frowned and asked, How many of them are here? There are 4 people in total. Chu Xuanli, who just left. In addition, the master of the Chu family also brought 2 people. One of them is your brother, Chu Shenming, and the other is an old man named Uncle Wang. What? Uncle Wang is here? Chu Xianyue was still a little hesitant about whether she should see Chu Shanhe or not, but when she heard that Uncle Wang was also here, she did not hesitate at all. She said to Zhang Tiniu, Hurry up and invite them in. Uncle Wang was an old bachelor. He had never married a wife and had no children, so he had treated Chu Xianyue as his own daughter since she was a child. He cared for her much more than Chu Shanhe and Jin Xiaoying. Similarly, Chu Xianyue also had deep feelings for him. Not long after, Zhang Tiniu walked into the living room with Chu Shanhe and the other 3 people. When she saw the white-haired Uncle Wang, Chu Xianyue immediately went up to him and said excitedly, Uncle Wang, you're here. Hurry up and sit down. I've really missed you all these years. After seeing Chu Xianyue, Uncle Wang was also very excited. In the big Chu family, only the girl in front of him and Chu Xuanli really had feelings for him. Eldest miss, have you been well? Uncle Wang said excitedly. I'm fine, I'm fine. Chu Xianyue nodded repeatedly. Seeing that his daughter was closer to the housekeeper than to him, Chu Shanhe could not help frowning slightly, but he did not say anything. No matter who Chu Xianyue liked, as long as she could return to the Chu family with him, it would be the greatest success. Uncle Wang turned around and said to Chu Shanhe, Master, can I have a word with Miss alone? Sure. Chu Shanhe nodded. On the way here, he had already promised Uncle Wang that as long as he could persuade Chu Xianyue to return to the Chu family, not only would he continue to be the housekeeper, but he would also be rewarded handsomely. Chu Xianyue knew what Uncle Wang wanted to say to her in private, so she took him to the next room. Uncle Wang said, Miss, this is the young master, right? Can you take him with you? Of course. Although she did not understand Uncle Wang's intention, Chu Xianyue still called Qin Haodong over. When they arrived at the next room and closed the door, Chu Xianyue took Uncle Wang's hand and said, Uncle Wang, why haven't you come to see me all these years? As soon as she finished speaking, she saw Uncle Wang kneeling on the ground with a plop. He said to her and Qin Haodong with tears streaming down his face, Miss, young master, I'm sorry. Chu Xianyue hurriedly helped him up and said, Uncle Wang, what are you doing? Uncle Wang said with a guilty face, Miss, I've kept this in my heart for more than 20 years. Today, I must tell you that I stole the young master away. What did you say? Chu Xianyue was shocked. Back then she had only left the room for a while, and when she came back her son had disappeared. Although she knew that it was the Chu family who had done it, she did not know who had done it. She did not expect that it was Uncle Wang who had always loved her. Qin Haodong also frowned, but it was best for his mother to deal with this kind of thing. He did not say anything. Uncle Wang continued, "Back then, old madam came to me and asked me to steal the young master away and kill him. At first I was unwilling to do it. Miss, you are so kind to me, how could I do it? But later I thought that if I didn't do it, old madam would definitely find someone else. In that case the young master would have no hope of living at all. So I agreed and secretly took the young master away. Then I handed him over to a relative and took him to Jiangnan to find a good family to adopt. I didn't dare to tell anyone about this. Later I told old master and old madam that I had killed the young master. Originally I wanted to keep this secret to myself for the rest of my life. I didn't expect that the young master would return to the capital openly today. I don't think there's any need for me to hide it anymore. Otherwise I won't be able to feel at ease even in the coffin. I came here today to beg for your forgiveness." Hearing this, Qin Haodong's expression softened a lot. In this way not only was Uncle Wang not his enemy, but he was his benefactor. If he had not taken him away and secretly found someone to take care of him, he would have been killed by the Chu family. After the shock, Chu Shenyue also thought of the key point. She took Uncle Wang's hand and said, "Uncle Wang, we can't blame you for this. On the contrary, we should thank you for saving Haodong's life. If it weren't for you we wouldn't have reunited today. I don't dare to be greedy. Because of this matter, I have been restless all these years. I feel sorry for you. Today I finally feel much better. Originally I was going to leave the Chu family, but when I heard that you were going to take the young master back, I came here with the family master. No matter if the young master wants to beat or scold me or even kill me, I won't have any complaints." Chu Shenyue said in surprise, "Uncle Wang, you have been in the Chu family for a lifetime. Where are you going?" Uncle Wang sighed and said, "Just today I was driven out of the Chu family by old madam. But you don't have to worry. I still have some savings over the years. I'm really tired and my health is not very good. It's not bad to find a place to retire." Chu Shenyue frowned and asked, "Why did she drive you away?" Uncle Wang said, "Young master, it doesn't matter. Don't ask." Qin Haodong immediately understood and said, "Is it because I'm not dead that the Chu family is angry with you?" Chu Shenyue asked with a gloomy face, "Uncle Wang, is that so?" Seeing that Qin Haodong had already guessed the reason, Uncle Wang could only nod, which was a tacit agreement. Chu Shenyue said angrily, "They have gone too far. I'll go and reason with them now." Uncle Wang hurriedly said, "Young master, please don't. I don't want this to affect the relationship between you and your father. And to be honest, I've really had enough of the Chu family. In addition, I've been in poor health for the past few years and my back often hurts so much that I can't stand up straight. I really don't want to work here anymore." Qin Haodong said, "Uncle Wang, I've just been established and I'm in need of a capable housekeeper. Why don't you come to work here? How much is your salary? I'll pay you 5 times more." Chu Shenyue immediately said, "Yes, Uncle Wang, please come to our place." "Young master, although I also want to stay with you, to be honest, my body really can't take it anymore. I can't do anything here and I can only be a burden to you." After saying that, "I don't have any burden anymore. I'll leave the capital later and find a beautiful place to retire." Qin Haodong said, "Uncle Wang, you can't leave. Just stay in our Tang sect. Your body is just a small problem. I'll help you take care of it and you'll soon be full of vigor. It won't be a problem for you to get married again." After that he reached out and massaged Uncle Wang's waist a few times. After 2 cracking sounds, Uncle Wang's slightly hunched back instantly straightened and he became much more energetic. Chapter 688. Uncle Wang cried out in surprise, "Young master, your medical skills are really amazing. I've seen many doctors over the years, but none of them could cure my waist. I didn't expect you to cure it in such a short time." Qin Haodong smiled slightly and took out another physique-improving pill and gave it to him. "Uncle Wang, take this pill." Uncle Wang threw the pill into his mouth without hesitation. Qin Haodong used the greenwood genuine qi to help him sort out the blocked meridians and stimulate the efficacy of the pill. In just a few minutes he felt full of strength as if he had suddenly become dozens of years younger. "It's amazing, it's really amazing. Young master, I'll stay here with you from now on. It won't be a problem for me to work here for another 20 or 30 years. Qin Haodong said with a smile, "Well, from now on you're the housekeeper of our Tang sect. You'll be in charge of all the affairs of the family." He had established the Tang sect and there were many masters in the family, but he really lacked a good helper who could take care of internal affairs. Uncle Wang had been the housekeeper of the Chu family for so many years, so there was no doubt about his ability. His arrival solved this problem easily. Chu Xianyue was also very happy. This was the best result. Uncle Wang did not have to go back to the Chu family to look at others' faces, nor did he have to go out alone. Soon they returned to the living room. When Chu Shanha and the others saw Uncle Wang again, they could not help but be shocked. This old man had just left for a few minutes. Why did he suddenly seem to have changed into a different person? Just a moment ago he looked old, but now his back was not hunched and he was not panting when he spoke. Even the wrinkles on his face were reduced a lot. He was in high spirits as if he had become dozens of years younger. There was a flash of jealousy in Chu Xuanming's eyes. There was no doubt that this also had something to do with Qin Haodong. His elder brother, Chu Xuanli's cultivation had improved by 2 levels in succession, and now even Uncle Wang had gained great benefits. It seemed that this nephew of his did have immortal-like means. He had to get some benefits later. This was also the reason why he took the initiative to follow them. Chu Xianyue took the lead and said, "From today on, Uncle Wang is a member of our Tang sect and will not return to the Chu family." Chu Shanha was slightly stunned. He did not expect that as soon as he came here before he could persuade Chu Xianyue to go back, he would lose a butler. Then he smiled and said, "Girl, listen to what you're saying. We're all family. It doesn't matter where Uncle Wang is. He can stay here if he wants. However, we're here to take you back to the Chu clan. If you go back, what's the point of Uncle Wang staying here?" Chu Xuanli also said, "Yes, little sister, it's good to have a family reunion." Chu Xianming said with a flattering face, "Little sister, you haven't been at home all these years. Mom and I miss you so much. Please come back with us. Also, my little nephew has grown up so much in a flash. He's much more promising than the other 2 in my family. He can be a good example for them when he goes back." Chu Xianyue smiled coldly. She looked at Chu Xianming and said, "Second brother, are you sure that you and mother have missed me? Don't you hate me to the bone?" After being in the Chu family for so many years, she knew everyone's character like the back of her hand. Her eldest brother, Chu Xuanli, was simple and honest, while her second brother, Chu Xianming, was treacherous. Moreover, he relied on his mother's love to bully her every day to show his status in the Chu family. This kind of person only had himself and interests in his eyes. There was no family love at all. And her mother, Jin Xiaoying, who valued boys more than girls, only had eyes for her son since she was a child. She had always been impatient and disgusted with her daughter. She was the cause of her being driven out of the Chu family. For more than 20 years, her mother had not even called her once. She would not believe that such a person would miss her. Chu Xianming smiled embarrassedly and said, "Of course it's true. We are all looking forward to you and your little nephew going back together." Chu Xianyue said, "Don't pretend to be confused. We all know why the Chu family asked us to go back. It's because my son has made a name for himself now. You want him to work for the Chu family and use his strength to strengthen the Chu family." Chu Shanha said, "Xianyue, you're overthinking it. Of course it's a good thing for our Chu family that Haodong has made a name for himself. But this time I asked you to go back mainly for the family reunion. After all, you've been away for so many years and everyone in the family misses you very much." Chu Xianyue sneered and said, "For the family reunion, you all miss me very much? It's been 21 years. Why didn't you miss me earlier or later? Why did you miss me now?" Well, as the head of the family, Chu Shanha had always been a man of his word in the Chu family, especially in front of the younger generation. When had he ever been contradicted by the younger generation? But now, in the face of Chu Xianyue, his daughter, who he had not appreciated before, he did not dare to lose his temper at all, because her son was standing next to him. Seeing that his father was embarrassed, Chu Xuanli stepped forward and said, "Little sister, let bygones be bygones. Let's not talk about it anymore. After all, the Chu family is the place where you grew up. Don't you want to go back and have a look?" After he said this, Chu Xianyue fell silent. He was right. After all, the Chu family was the place where she grew up. She still wanted to go back and have a look. Chu Shanha's eyes lit up as if he had seen hope. He quickly said, "Yes, Xianyue, go back and have a look. After all, it's your home. Even if you stay for one day, it's good." He was a smart person. Now he could see that it was impossible for Chu Xianyue to completely submit to the Chu family with Qin Haodong. But as long as Chu Xianyue stepped into the Chu family with Qin Haodong, it was equivalent to admitting the kinship between the 2 families. The other families would fear the Chu family for Qin Haodong's sake and they would get great benefits. Moreover, with this platform they could take the opportunity to further reconcile their relationship with Chu Xianyue and slowly pull her back to the Chu family. Chu Xianyue hesitated for a moment, but in the end she could not bear to refute her elder brother. She said, "Well, when there is a suitable opportunity in a few days, I will go back with Haodong to have a look." Seeing that his daughter had finally agreed, Chu Shanhe was overjoyed. "Xianyue, it will be my 70th birthday in a few days. You must come back at that time. Our family will have a good time." Chu Xianyue did not say anything and nodded slightly. Although it was almost imperceptible, the father and son of the Chu family were overjoyed. Chu Xuanli said, "Little sister, it's a deal. You must come back for father's birthday in a few days." Chu Xianyue nodded again. At this time, Qin Haodong said, "Uncle, I heard from my mother that you have a cousin and a cousin in your family. I don't know what they are busy with. If they have nothing to do, can they come to the Tang sect to help? I'm short of hands now." Of course, the Tang sect was not short of hands. He just knew that his mother was most concerned about his uncle, so he wanted to give as many benefits as possible to his uncle's family. There were many masters on his side and he had a lot of elixirs. If Chu Xuanli sent his 2 children here, their cultivation would soar like a rocket. This kind of opportunity was something that others could not even beg for. Although Chu Xuanli was loyal, he was not stupid. He immediately understood the key and quickly said, "That's great. Haodong, I'll ask your cousin and cousin to come over later. These 2 children are dull and have not made much progress in recent years. You must help them." Chu Xianming could naturally see the mystery. Seeing that his elder brother had benefited again, he hurriedly said, "Haodong, I also have a cousin and a cousin in my family. It just so happens that I have nothing to do at home. Let them come over to help you." Qin Haodong had long heard about his uncle's past from Chu Xianyue. He could also see from his appearance that he was definitely a heartless villain. Naturally, he did not have any good impression of Chu Xianming. "I'm sorry, uncle. My small family only needs 2 people. I can't accommodate any more." Chu Xuanming's expression froze and then he said unwillingly, "Haodong, we are all relatives. You can't just look at my uncle and ignore him. You don't have to pay any fees for my 2 children. You just need to use them normally. What do you think?" "I don't think so." Qin Haodong did not mean to save Chu Xuanming's face at all. He refused again without hesitation, "Uncle, you were good to my mother. My mother often talked about it, but I have never heard her mention you, so let's forget about it." Well, Chu Xianming could see that Qin Haodong was taking revenge. He did not do anything to Chu Xianyue back then, so naturally he would not get any benefits. But he did not give up. He had not achieved his purpose this time. He said with a flattering face, "Haodong, since it's not convenient for you, let's put the matter of the children aside. I heard that you have a kind of elixir called the spirit culturing pill. Your uncle took it and the effect was good. Can you also give me some?" After hearing his words, Chu Shanhe's expression also changed. He originally wanted to ask Qin Haodong for this kind of elixir, but because of his pride he was too embarrassed to ask. If Chu Xianming could ask for it, it would be good for him to share too with him. Seeing that this guy was shameless enough to ask for the elixir from him, Qin Haodong said with a playful expression, "I do have the spirit culturing pill you mentioned, but the last 3 have been given to my uncle." Chu Xianming still did not give up. "Haodong, I heard that your medical skills are very good. Can you make a few more of this kind of elixir?" "Yes, but the raw materials for this kind of medicine are very rare. If you can take them out, it doesn't matter if I make a few." Hearing that Qin Haodong promised to make the elixir, Chu Xianming immediately became excited. "Haodong, tell me what kind of raw materials do you need? With the resources of our Chu family, we can even find dragon livers and phoenix gallbladders." He did have this confidence. The Chu family had a large-scale Chinese medicine wholesale base in Wuxia. There were no medicinal materials that could not be found there. Qin Haodong said, "Okay, I'll tell you. Remember 5,000 years old Polygonum multiflorum, 5,000 years old ginseng, 5,000 years old Rehmannia?" As soon as Qin Haodong said a few medicinal materials, Chu Xuanming's face turned completely green. He had heard of these medicinal materials, but where could he find those that were 5,000 years old? Not to mention 5,000 years old, he could not even find wild medicinal materials that were 500 years old. His face immediately darkened. He did not know that Qin Haodong's spirit culturing pill was made with this kind of medicinal materials. He thought that Qin Haodong was playing with him. Seeing the change of Chu Xuanming's expression, Qin Haodong smiled and said, "What's wrong? Can't you find the raw materials? Then I have no choice. Sister, you really gave birth to a good son. Chu Xianming glanced at Chu Xianyue and Qin Haodong with resentment in his eyes. Then he turned around and left the Tang sect. Chu Shanhe saw all of this clearly. Although he felt a little regretful that he did not get the spirit culturing pill, he had restored his relationship with Chu Xianyue. This trip was not in vain. Chapter 689. After they left, Chu Xianyue said, "Haodong, you've offended your second uncle today. You must be careful of him in the future. He is the most insidious person and he will definitely take revenge on you." "It's okay. Don't worry, Mom." Qin Haodong naturally saw Chu Xuanming's dissatisfaction. He had always been a man who would repay kindness with kindness and take revenge with hatred. He would let bygones be bygones for his mother's sake. If this guy continued to make trouble for them, he would not blame him for being righteous. After being tormented by the big families for a day, the sun had already turned to the west and slowly sank below the horizon. After the people of the Chu family left, no one came to visit the Tang sect. After dinner, Qin Haodong gathered the core members of the Tang sect for a meeting. Chu Xianyue and Yi Qing were also among them. Qin Haodong said, "From today on, the Tang sect has officially gained a foothold in the capital. But we still need to be clear about what we're going to do in the future." Everyone present was a core member of the Tang sect. He told them everything about the alien demons from the beginning to the end. At the end he said, "According to Master Qiyu, the alien demons are extremely powerful. What we need to do now is to integrate the power of the 7 great families in the capital and help them improve their strength. In the future we'll fight against the alien demons together. This is the top priority of our Tang sect." Ma Wenjue said, "Boss, why don't we wipe out the 7 great families now? It'll be easier after we gather our strength." Nalan Wuxia said, "Yes, with our current strength, it's not too difficult to wipe out the 7 great families." Qin Haodong shook his head and said, "I've also considered this, but if we fight with other families, our strength will inevitably be damaged. Now we have to concentrate all our strength to fight against the alien demons and reduce internal friction as much as possible. In addition, if we don't disclose the news about the alien demons, it'll be difficult for the other families to work together with us. But judging from what happened in the Hmong village in Xiangxi, the alien demons are extremely powerful. They even know the news about the Qiyu forbidden area. They must have spies in the capital. If they know that we've already got the news about the alien demons and made preparations in advance, it will be very disadvantageous for us. So we must keep the news about the alien demons a secret. Only everyone here knows about it." Everyone nodded in unison, thinking that Qin Haodong's words made sense. He continued, "Now we have to think of a special way to unify the 7 great families without bloodshed and help them improve their strength quietly. Everyone, do you have any good ideas?" Hu Shaoxian blinked her big eyes and smiled like a little fox. She said, "I have a way to control the 7 great families silently, but I don't know if you can do it." Qin Haodong said, "Tell me." Hu Shaoxian said, "It's easy to control the 7 great families. Just let your own people be the masters. For example, the Qi family. You can help Sister Wan'er improve her cultivation to the 9th level of the Supreme Power Realm and then let her ascend to the position of the master of the Qi family. The whole Qi family will be under our control." Qin Haodong nodded. It was necessary to improve Qi Wan'er's cultivation. You would do it tonight. After improving her cultivation to the 9th level of the Supreme Power Realm, it would not be difficult for her to ascend to the position of the master of the Qi family. "That's a good idea, but we only have Qi Wan'er. What about the other 6 families?" Hu Shaoxian smiled slyly and said, "It's very simple. Today the Han family, the Wei family and the Zhao family have already come to propose marriage, haven't they? You just need to take those 3 beautiful girls and then turn them into the 9th level of the Supreme Power Realm. In the same way the 3 great families will be under your control." Qin Haodong smiled helplessly and said, "It's very easy to agree to these 3 marriages. The old foxes of the 3 great families can't wait to send their granddaughters over immediately. But these 3 women are different from Wan'er. They are not on the same side as us. It's very likely that they are spies. In this case, it's impossible for us to use them, let alone help them improve their cultivation. Not to mention anything else, the double cultivation initiation technique required 2 people to completely trust each other. Otherwise, if there was a mistake they would fall into eternal damnation." Hu Shaoxian smiled again and said, "That's why I don't know if you can do it. If you want to completely conquer the hearts of these 3 girls, it depends on your ability." Yi Qing said, "Little brother, I think you can do it. Look at the girls around you. Which one of them doesn't fall in love with you?" I also think my son can do it. Hearing that she was going to marry a few more daughters-in-law, Chu Shenyue said with a smile, "Son, don't be burdened. In fact, it's good to marry a few more daughters-in-law. In the future they can give me more grandchildren. It's a good thing to have more children." Qin Haodong shook his head secretly. His mother was too deeply influenced by the ideas of the aristocratic families. All she wanted was to find more daughters-in-law and have more grandchildren. But after thinking about it, he felt that Hu Xiaoxian's idea seemed to be really feasible. As long as he controlled Wei Yanran, Zhao Qinggu and Han Jiu, he would indirectly control the three great families. This method was much easier than other methods. As for how to conquer the three girls, he did not pay much attention to it. From the beginning to the present, the women around him were all pursuing him. If he took the initiative to pursue a girl with the ability of Emperor Greenwood, no woman could resist him. The only problem now was that he was afraid that the other women around him would not agree. Nalan Wushuang said, "I also think that Xiaoxian's idea is good." Feng Wu nodded and said, "I agree." The other girls also expressed their opinions. Chu Shenyue said happily, "That's great, son. Now everyone agrees. Let's see if you can get those three girls back for me." Qin Haodong did not answer directly. He said, "Even if we count the three great families, only 4 are under our control. There are still 3 other families." Hu Xiaoxian looked at him and said, "As for the remaining 3 great families, do you still need me to tell you what's going on with the Yen family?" Qin Haodong looked embarrassed and immediately understood that Hu Xiaoxian was referring to Yen Feifei. Yen Feifei was already a level 9 Supreme Power Master and an elder of the Yen family. Her status in the Yen family was extremely high. As long as Yen Feifei was under his control, he would be able to control the Yen family. He smiled embarrassedly and said, "Let's not talk about the Yen family. There are still the other 2 great families." The others were confused by his and Hu Xiaoxian's riddle, but they did not dare to ask further. Chu Shenyue was counting the number of daughters-in-law with her fingers and did not care about what they said at all. If one day she knew that Yen Feifei had also become her daughter-in-law, how would she feel? Qin Haodong added, "Whether I admit it or not, in terms of blood relations, the Chu family and the Qin family are my direct relatives. So Xiaoxian's method will definitely not work here. We have to find another way." At this time, Chu Shenyue finished checking the number of daughters-in-law. When she heard about the Chu family, she raised her head and said, "I think the Chu family is relatively simple. Your uncle is a good person and he is also close to us. As long as we send him to the position of the family master, it will be equivalent to controlling the Chu family." Qin Haodong thought for a moment. Chu Xuanli was now the eldest son of the second generation of the Chu family and the only level 8 Supreme Power Master under the 2 great elders. If he was promoted to the level 9 Supreme Power Master, it would be a sure thing for him to inherit the family throne. "Mom, let's do as you say. When uncle sends my cousin and my cousin over tomorrow, we will give them more resources to help them improve their cultivation. It can also strengthen uncle's reputation. I will give him more spirit culturing pills. I believe it is only a matter of time before he reaches the level 9 Supreme Power Master." Chu Shenyue was very satisfied with her son's attitude. She nodded and said, "Now there is only the Qin family left." In fact, it is easy to control the Qin family. As long as you return to the Qin family, it will not be a problem for you to become the family master with your ability. At that time, the 7 great families will be under your control. Qin Haodong shook his head. He did not have a good impression of the Qin family and did not want to be the family master. In fact, the best way to control the Qin family was to let his father come back. As long as Qin Zongheng became the family master, all the problems would be solved. But now there was no news from his father and he did not know when he would hear from him. But it was not a big deal. When the alien demons attacked, he would directly give orders to the Qin family. If the Qin family listened to him, it would be fine. If they did not, he did not mind turning the 7 great families into the 6 great families. After that, they briefly discussed a few more issues and the meeting ended. After the meeting, the other girls returned to their rooms. They were all level 9 Supreme Power Masters and had to seize the time to cultivate and reach the Saint Realm as soon as possible. Qin Haodong asked Yi Qing to stay and asked, "Sister, you have been in the capital for so many years. Do you know the person in charge of the Wuxia Museum?" Yi Qing said, "I happen to have some contacts with the director of the Wuxia Museum. Although I am not very familiar with him, I can still do general things. Tell me, what do you want to do?" "That's great," Qin Haodong said excitedly. "I have a few bronze heads of the 12 zodiacs and I want to donate them to the Wuxia Museum. Can you help me contact them?" He had used up the upper-level spirit stones for the bronze heads of the 12 zodiacs and he did not intend to keep them. He would donate them to the Wuxia government. Yi Qing said in surprise, "How many bronze heads of the 12 zodiacs do you have? Brother, are you talking in your sleep?" "Of course not." Qin Haodong said, "I have the dragon, snake, chicken, ox, rabbit and dog heads of the 12 zodiacs. I want to donate them all to the Wuxia Museum." The reason why he decided to donate to the Wuxia Museum was that the other bronze heads of the 12 zodiacs were also displayed in the Wuxia Museum. He had a dragon head in Taiwan and a rabbit head in the Wuxia Museum. However, he would leave it to the experts of the museum to determine which one was real and which one was fake. Anyway, he could donate them. Yi Qing said in surprise, "You have so many bronze heads of the 12 zodiacs. You can donate them openly. I'm afraid the Wuxia government will give you a big reward. Do you still need to ask for help?" Qin Haodong said, "I don't want any reward. There is only one condition. I want to see the other bronze heads of the 12 zodiacs. As long as you meet my condition, I will donate all of them to the Wuxia Museum." His purpose was very simple. He wanted to get the upper-level spirit stones from the other bronze heads of the 12 zodiacs in the Wuxia Museum. With enough upper-level spirit stones, he could break through to the nascent soul realm and improve his cultivation. Yi Qing said, "You have donated so many bronze heads of the 12 zodiacs. This request is too simple. It's not a problem at all. I think the Wuxia Museum will agree." Qin Haodong said excitedly, "That's great. Sister, help me contact them and donate these things as soon as possible." Chapter 690. Yi Qing smiled slyly and said, "I can help you contact them, but you have to promise me one thing." "What is it?" "Sister, just tell me. As long as I can do it, I'll do it." Qin Haodong was extremely eager to collect upper-level spirit stones and then break through to the nascent soul realm. Naturally, he did not care about one or two conditions from Yi Qing. "Accompany me to a tea party tonight. I'll help you contact the Wuxia Museum tomorrow." "That's easy. No problem." Seeing that Yi Qing just wanted him to accompany her for tea, Qin Haodong agreed without hesitation. In the Yan family, Yan Zicheng stood in front of Yan Fengwu with a livid face. "Grandpa, the Zhao family has gone too far. I already had an engagement with Qinggu, but they broke it and went to Qin Haodong's house to propose marriage for Qinggu. They simply don't take our Yan family seriously." Compared with his grandson, Yan Fengwu was much calmer. "Child, remember, in the eyes of our aristocratic families, the first thing is always interest. In the beginning, the Zhao family united with our Yan family by marriage for interest. Now they broke the engagement with us and proposed marriage to Qin Haodong for interests. There's nothing strange about it. The reason why the Zhao family broke the engagement with us is that Qin Haodong is stronger than our Yan family. Once the marriage is united, they will get more benefits." Yan Zicheng cried, "I don't care so much. I only want Zhao Qingguo. No matter what, I will marry her." Yan Fengwu glanced at him with obvious dissatisfaction in his eyes. "Child, it's useless to shout slogans. It's okay if you want to marry Zhao Qingguo, but you have to have the strength first. If you are stronger than Qin Haodong, you don't have to do anything. The Zhao family will take the initiative to send Zhao Qingguo to you. If you don't have that strength, it's useless to think about it. In the end, you will only suffer losses." Yan Zicheng said unconvinced, "What's so great about Qin Haodong? Why does the Zhao family have to curry favor with him? Did they forget that Qin Haodong just stole their daughter-in-law?" Yan Fengwu sighed and said, "You are still immature. The Zhao family is willing to put down their pride for the sake of interest. You said that Qin Haodong is nothing great, but he is a 9th-level Supreme Power Master in his 20s. Can you do that?" Yan Zicheng was speechless for a while. Although he was considered an outstanding member of the younger generation, his cultivation had just reached the 5th level of the Supreme Power Realm. He was still a few streets away from the 9th level of the Supreme Power Realm. "Grandpa, I can't take this lying down. Are we just going to let this go?" Yan Fengwu looked at his precious grandson angrily and said, "Then tell me, what should we do if we don't let it go? Fight the Zhao family?" Yan Zicheng said, "The Zhao family is as strong as our Yan family. We can't do anything to the Zhao family, but we can deal with that Qin guy." "Deal with Qin Haodong?" Yan Fengwu sneered and said, "You're right. The Zhao family's strength is equal to ours, but Qin Haodong's strength is several times stronger than ours. If he wants to, he can destroy our Yan clan at any time and you still want to find trouble with him? What I'm worried about now is that the Yan family doesn't have a suitable 3rd generation. Otherwise, I would have gone to their door to propose marriage." Among the 7 great families in the capital, the other 6 had already taken action, but the Yen family was still silent. On the one hand, Yen Fengwu had other plans. On the other hand, there was really no girl in the 3rd generation of their family who could compare to the 3 beauties of the capital. Otherwise, he would have gone to their door to propose marriage. Yan Zicheng knew that Qin Haodong was powerful, but he did not expect him to be so powerful. Yan Fengwu said, "Let me tell you, don't provoke Qin Haodong in the near future. Otherwise, I won't forgive you if you bring disaster to the Yan family." "But Grandpa, I feel that this is too unfair." Glancing at Yan Zicheng, Yan Fengwu said, "In fact, you don't have to worry about this matter. Our Yan family may rise in the near future." Yan Zicheng asked in confusion, "Grandpa, what do you mean?" Yan Fengwu said proudly, "Your aunt began to cultivate in seclusion 3 days ago. It is said that she got the help of an expert's elixir this time, and it is very likely that she can break through the bottleneck of the saint realm. As long as your aunt can become a saint, the other families will worship our Yan family. Qin Haodong? Even if he has many 9th-level supreme power masters, so what? They will all be vulnerable. At that time, you can marry any girl in the capital, let alone Zhao Qinggu of the Zhao family. No one will dare to say no." Yan Zicheng shouted excitedly, "That's great, Grandpa. I didn't expect my aunt to be so powerful now. She can become the first saint among the 7 great families in the capital." Yan Fengwu said, "Don't be happy too early. This matter must be kept secret and no one else can know about it." Before Yan Feifei went into seclusion, she had talked to Yan Fengwu and said that the possibility of her breaking through this time was 90%. This was also an important reason why Yan Fengwu did not take the initiative to visit Qin Haodong. As long as the Yan family had a saint, they would definitely become the biggest family in the capital. There was no need to please the Tang sect. "Got it, Grandpa. I will keep it a secret." The haze on Yan Zicheng's face was swept away. As long as his aunt became a saint, he would not care about Qin Haodong. In the Wei family, an elegant girl was standing in front of Wei Junce, the family master. Although her face was full of anger, her manner and words were still so elegant. She was the eldest daughter of the Wei family, Wei Yanran, who was known for her beautiful smile. "Grandpa, how can you do this? I haven't even seen Qin Haodong. How can you propose marriage without my consent?" Wei Junce said, "Yanran, although you haven't seen him, I have seen him. Qin Haodong is really a talent. He is already a level 9 supreme power master at such a young age. I have lived for 70 or 80 years, but I have never seen such an outstanding person. Is such a talent not worthy of you? But I don't like him." Wei Yanran said, "Grandpa, you have long known that I like talented people, not those who fight and kill. Not to mention that he is a level 9 supreme power master. Even if he is a saint, I will not like him." "Nonsense." Wei Junce's face darkened. Although he doted on this granddaughter very much, this matter was related to the survival of the Wei family. No one was allowed to stand up against it, including Wei Yanran herself. As a descendant of an aristocratic family, your marriage must be decided by your family. How can you do it alone? Wei Junce seemed to feel that his tone was a little harsh, so he softened and said, "Yanran, I know you like those who write and draw now, but what's the use of that? You can decide a person's future and the prosperity of an aristocratic family. You must have strength. The husband I chose for you is just right." "Grandpa, I don't agree with this marriage anyway." Wei Yanran left angrily after saying that, but Wei Junce did not take it seriously. As a member of a big aristocratic family, the marriage of the next generation could not be decided by themselves. They had to serve the interests of the family. What was important now was not whether Wei Yanran agreed or not, but Qin Haodong's attitude was ambiguous. As long as Qin Haodong agreed, they would send Wei Yanran to him even if they had to tie her up. Wei Yanran left the Wei family in a rage and drove to a tea house. The tea house was antique from the exterior to the interior decoration. It looked very elegant, but the plaque at the door said Jing Dong, which looked a little tacky. Wei Yanran was a regular here, so no one stopped her after she entered the door. She went straight to the back hall and saw an elegant girl in an ancient dress sitting at the table, drinking tea and reading a book. Seeing the angry Wei Yanran, the girl put down the book in her hand and asked, "Yanran, what's wrong with you? Why do you look unhappy?" Wei Yanran sat opposite the girl angrily, poured herself a cup of tea and said, "How can I be happy? Grandpa arranged a marriage for me today." The girl in the ancient dress smiled and said, "It's a good thing. We women have to get married sooner or later. What's there to be unhappy about? Even if it's a family engagement, I'll accept it. After all, this is the fate of women in our big families. Then Wei Yanran said angrily, "But this marriage is too outrageous. He has several women and I have to be his concubine after I marry him. The most annoying thing is that even so he didn't agree. He said he would think about it. How can there be such a hateful person in this world?" The woman in the ancient costume was also surprised after hearing this. "Really? Doesn't that man know that you are one of the 3 beauties in the capital, Wei Yanran? It's a blessing for him to marry a beautiful woman like you. Why did he refuse to marry you?" Wei Yanran said, "Not only that, Zhao Qinggu from the Zhao family and Han Jiu from the Han family also came to propose marriage. You know my dream. I want to find a husband who is proficient in the 4 arts. I didn't expect that my dream would not come true and I would be reduced to fighting for a husband." Speaking of this, she said angrily, "Why did you come back from Jiangnan? If you were still in Jiangnan, I could still run away from home to find you." The girl in the ancient dress said, "I had no choice. Jiangnan is a good place. Although it is not as prosperous as the capital, it has a strong cultural atmosphere and there are many talents. It's a pity that my grandfather is ill and I have to return to the capital. Otherwise I would really be reluctant to leave Jiangnan." Wei Yanran drank up the tea in the cup and said as if she had made a decision, "I've made up my mind. I can't stay in the capital and wait for death. I'm going to Jiangnan to find him." The girl in the ancient dress was shocked. She did not expect that Wei Yanran, who had always been elegant, would make such a firm decision. She said, "Will that work? You haven't met him yet." "So what? Since I saw his painting, I have decided that I will marry no one else but him in this life." Wei Yanran stood up and walked slowly to the wall. There was a beautifully framed painting hanging on the wall. It was an ink painting with rocks and plum blossoms on it. It looked very simple, but the artistic conception was very profound. If Qin Haodong had seen it, he would have been very surprised. This painting was exactly the plum blossom painting he had drawn with a little teddy bear at the Sino-Japanese exchange meeting. He didn't take it away afterward, but today it appeared on the wall of the tea house in the capital. Wei Yanran stared at the painting and murmured, "Mingrui, you're not lying to me, are you? Is the medical sage really so amazing that he has reached an unfathomable level in the 4 arts?" The girl in the ancient dress was the tea fairy Hua Mingrui, who was Wei Yanran's best friend. She had brought this painting from Jiangnan. Wei Yanran liked painting and calligraphy since she was a child. After seeing this painting of plum blossoms, she could not put it down and finally forced Hua Mingrui to tell her where it came from. Hearing that there was such a magical existence as the medical sage in this world, who was proficient in the 4 arts, Wei Yanran fell in love with him even though she had not seen him yet. Chapter 691. Of course it's true. How could I joke about this kind of thing? Hua Mingrui looked fascinated. She recalled the scene at that time and said, "When the neon people came to challenge us, we didn't take them seriously. Who knew that they were really more skilled? Although they learned many things from our Huaxia, their attainments were no worse than ours. If it hadn't been for the medical sage, we would have been defeated." Speaking of this, she turned her head to look at the painting on the wall. "It's a pity that as soon as the challenge ended, I returned to the capital and didn't see him again. At that time, I brought this painting back as a souvenir." "You don't like him too, do you?" Wei Yanran said, "No wonder you were reluctant to give this painting to me. It turns out that you want to see it and remember him." Hua Mingrui blushed and said, "I don't like him. After all, we only met once, but he is definitely the person I respect the most in my life. Since I was a child, I have never admired anyone, especially in terms of attainments in the tea ceremony. Others gave me the nickname of Tea Fairy, and I also regarded myself as one. However, after witnessing his tea skills, I realized that I was still too weak. He had reached the supreme realm of pervading aroma, but he had done it so casually. After seeing his tea skills, I also benefited a lot. After so many days of hard work, I have barely reached the primary level of pervading fragrance." Wei Yanran said, "Looking at your admiring face, you must like him. You don't have to meet someone if you like him. Just like me, although I have only seen this painting of his, I have fallen in love at first sight. I am willing to marry him." "Of course you are." Hua Mingrui said, "The medical sage is an extraordinary person. He is not only proficient in medical skills, but also has profound attainments in zither, chess, calligraphy and painting. Generally speaking, God is fair. Since he has given a person such excellent talent, he will not be given an excellent appearance. But he is not in this range. He has amazing talent and is even more handsome. His temperament is elegant and refined, and his words and deeds are incomparably natural and unrestrained. No woman can refuse such an outstanding man like him. Wei Yanran looked at the painting of plum blossoms in front of her and said with a fascinated look, "If I hadn't grown up with you and knew that you were arrogant and never praised others, I would have thought that you were lying to me. Is there really such a perfect man in this world? Why can't I see it?" Hua Mingrui said, "Medical sage is definitely a perfect and respectable person. The reason why I named this tea house Jingdong Tea House is to express my admiration for him." Wei Yanran said with a surprised face, "I see. I was wondering why you, such an elegant person, gave the tea house such a name. Explain to me, what does the word Jingdong mean?" Jing of course means respect. Dong is his name, and the medical sage's name is Qin Haodong, so I named the tea house Jingdong Tea House with the last word. What? His name is Qin Haodong? As soon as Hua Mingrui finished speaking, Wei Yanran screamed, "What's wrong? What's all the fuss about? Is there something special about this name?" Wei Yanran said, "If I remember correctly, this is the name of the man my family arranged for me. He is from the Qin family in the capital and his name is also Qin Haodong." Hua Mingrui shook her head and said, "It's nothing. There are too many people with the same name in the world. Medical Sage was born and raised in Jiangnan and has nothing to do with the Qin family. He is in Jiangnan and it is impossible for him to come to the capital." Wei Yanran also thought that Hua Mingrui's words made sense. She sighed and said, "I think so too. There is no such coincidence in this world. I heard that Qin Haodong is also very outstanding. He has reached the terrifying level of the 9th level of the Supreme Power Realm at such a young age. Unfortunately, he is not my cup of tea. I don't like martial artists. I like talented people. It would be great if they could make an exchange. If God could send the medical sage you mentioned to me, then I would have no regrets in this life." Hua Mingrui said, "Don't think about it so beautifully. Most of the things in the world will not go your way. Beautiful women have a poor life." Wei Yanran said, "You're not bad. At least you won't be forced to marry someone you don't like by my family. I really want to leave and go to Jiangnan to find medical sage, but I know how powerful the Wei family is. I'm afraid that I can't be with him even if I go to Jiangnan. I will only bring disaster to him. But if you can't find someone you like, what's the difference between marrying him or not?" Hua Mingrui sighed and said, "Forget it. Don't think about so many unhappy things. Today's tea party is about to begin. Let's see if anyone can bring us some surprises." Wei Yanran said, "I don't think it's possible. The purpose of your tea party is to find someone who can surpass you in tea skills and then improve your realm in the tea ceremony. But I think the hope is too slim. With your tea skills, I'm afraid that only medical sage can surpass you in the world." Hua Mingrui said, "Forget it. Let's not talk so much. It's better to have hope than to have no hope." Wei Yanran suddenly thought of something and said, "Mingrui, since your grandfather is seriously ill and medical sage's medical skills are so good, why don't you invite him to the capital to treat your grandfather? It would be great if you could invite him. Even if I can't stay with him until my hair turns white, it would be good to see him. Otherwise it would be a lifelong regret for me." Hua Mingrui said, "I've mentioned medical sage before, but my uncle doesn't believe in traditional Chinese medicine at all, so he directly refused. Although my grandfather is good to me, I still need my uncle's permission to treat him, so I don't dare to rashly invite a doctor to the capital. Otherwise, it would be embarrassing if he came all the way here and my uncle refused to treat him." Wei Yanran nodded. She agreed with Hua Mingrui's words very much, but her face was full of regret. Qin Haodong and Yi Qin came to the Jingdong tea house together. They looked up at the antique tea house and couldn't help sighing, "This tea house is good. It can be seen from the decoration that the owner has a very high artistic conception in the tea ceremony. You can even see that? The owner of this tea house is called Tea Fairy. Her tea skills have reached the acme of perfection. Everyone who comes here to participate in the tea party can taste a cup of tea personally brewed by the Tea Fairy. The taste is so wonderful that it can't be described with words. So every weekend tea party I come here to have a cup of tea." Yi Qing said as she stuck out her tongue and licked her delicate red lips. She said with an expression of endless aftertaste, "It's just that one cup of tea is really not enough, so I brought you here today and you can have 2 cups. "Ah," Qin Haodong said with black lines on his face, "you brought me here to attend the tea party just to have one more cup of tea?" Yi Qing said with a smile, "Of course it's not to drink tea. It's just one of the purposes. When I came here to drink tea alone in the past, there were always some annoying guys who came to harass me. Now with you by my side it saves me a lot of trouble and I can enjoy tea quietly. Qin Haodong smiled bitterly. It turned out that he had come here for two purposes today. The first was to get a cup of tea and the second was to use him as a shield. While talking, the two of them walked into the tea house. Those who came to attend the tea party had to be members of the tea house. Yi Qing showed her membership card and then took Qin Haodong's arm and walked into the lobby together. The lobby looked very spacious, about 100 square meters or so, and it was filled with tea tables. At this time the lobby was almost full of guests. There was only one table left in the corner, so they could only sit there. Fortunately we came in time, otherwise there would be no seats. Yi Qing took Qin Haodong's arm and walked to the corner. A foppish playboy saw Yi Qing and was about to come over to say hello, but he saw Qin Haodong next to her. He frowned and said, "Miss Yi, when did you start to keep a gigolo?" Yi Qing glared at him and said, "I just kept him. What does it have to do with you? That's what I like." The man's face turned red, but he had no choice but to shake his head and sit down. Other people who wanted to talk to Yi Qing also gave up the idea when they saw this scene. After the two of them sat down, Yi Qing said with a smile, "It's really useful to take you with me. It's much quieter." Qin Haodong said, "Sister, when did you keep me? Why don't I see any money?" Yi Qing said with a smile, "We are brother and sister. There's no need to talk about money. If you think it's unfair, then you can keep me. I don't want a penny." Qin Haodong knew that he would not get any advantage in arguing with this sister. He looked up and saw a bead curtain on the other side of the tea house. The decoration inside was very elegant, and there was a tea table. He asked curiously, "What's that for? Why is it separated separately?" "That's the seat of the tea fairy." Yi Qing said, "The tea party is organized by the tea fairy. There is a tea party every weekend. People who come here can taste a cup of tea made by the tea fairy first. After that, everyone can show their tea skills. Finally, the tea fairy will choose the top 3. As long as they can be shortlisted, they can sit in the bead curtain and drink tea with the tea fairy. They can drink a cup of the best fragrant tea made by the tea fairy." "Oh?" Qin Haodong nodded and said, "The tea fairy must be a beautiful woman. Do people here come for the tea fairy?" He saw that most of the people sitting here drinking tea were men. So far Yi Qing was the only woman. As for the title of the tea fairy, there were many people with such a nickname. He did not associate it with Hua Mingrui. "Of course she's a beautiful woman and she's a super beauty," Yi Qing said, "but not all people here are here for the tea fairy. Some people are here for Wei Yanran, one of the 3 beauties in the capital." "Wei Yanran? What is she doing here?" Qin Haodong was slightly surprised. Wei Jun's had just come to propose marriage today. They had planned to conquer Wei Yanran as a strategy to conquer the Wei family, but he did not expect that they would meet so soon. "What's wrong? Are you nervous?" Yi Qing said with a smile, "Wei Yanran and the tea fairy are best friends. She will appear here every tea party. If you can go in and drink tea with the tea fairy, you will be lucky enough to see Wei Yanran's face. Therefore, most of the people who come here to attend the tea party are here for the 2 beauties, hoping that one day they can become their guests. These young masters from aristocratic families only know how to drink tea, but they don't know how to make tea. But for this purpose, many people have worked hard to practice tea skills, including Qin Chong, the young master of the Qin family." While they were talking, a man came in from outside the door. It was Qin Chong, whose head had just been shaved by Qin Haodong. Qin Chong's dress was a little different from usual. Instead of his shiny hair, he wore a hat. As the young master of the Qin family, someone had already reserved a seat for him. After Qin Chong arrived, he had been staring at the bead curtain and did not see Qin Haodong and Yi Qing at all. Chapter 692. Wei Yanran continued. Qin Chong came here to pursue Wei Yanran. I heard that he really spent a lot of money to pick up girls. He hired several of the best tea artists in the capital to be his teachers. Now his attainments in the tea ceremony are quite good and he can rank in the top 3 every time. He will go in to meet Wei Yanran and the tea fairy, have a taste of tea and talk about life. At this moment, there was a commotion in the lobby. "The tea fairy is here, the tea fairy is here, and Miss Wei, I learned a new skill in the tea ceremony today. I must make it to the top 3 and have a cup of tea with the 2 beauties." Amidst the discussions of the crowd, 2 graceful figures appeared behind the bead curtain. After sitting down at the tea table inside the bead curtain, Hua Mingrui said to the people outside, "Everyone, welcome to today's tea party. First of all, please have a taste of my cooking." After that, the maids came out with trays in their hands. For a moment, the fragrance of tea filled the air. The tea is here, the tea is here. Finally, I can drink the tea of the tea fairy again. I've drunk tea from many tea houses, but none of the tea artists can compare with the tea fairy. This tea is really delicious. It's a pity that this tea party is only held once a week. Why not once a day? Then I'll have the luck. The guests present were all talking at once. In short, they were full of praise for the tea made by the tea fairy. Let me tell you, this does not represent the highest level of the tea fairy. Last time I made it to the top 3, I finally tasted the tea of the tea fairy in person. That's the real immortal tea. Every sip is memorable. Are you showing off? I also want to make it to the top 3 and drink the tea of the tea fairy in person, but I have to have the ability. While everyone was talking, the maids quickly distributed the teacups to the guests one by one. Qin Haodong's table had a total of 2 cups of tea. As the Emperor Greenwood, no one knew tea better than him. Generally speaking, making tea was divided into 3 levels. The first level was the overflowing fragrance of tea, the second level was the returning to nature, and the third level was the fragrance. Although the tea in front of them was fragrant, it was only the first level of the tea ceremony. However, to be able to brew tea for so many people to such an extent, it was enough to show that the tea maker had extraordinary attainments in the tea ceremony. Seeing that Qin Haodong did not touch the teacup in front of him, Yi Qing quickly grabbed it and said, "You promised. Give me this cup of tea too." The tea that the tea fairy gave to everyone was a fine purple sand tea set. This kind of tea set was good, but unfortunately the cup was too small, and Yi Qing always drank it without being satisfied. Qin Haodong smiled and said, "It's just a cup of tea. If you can help me contact the Wuxia Museum tomorrow, I'll make you a pot of really good tea so that you can drink it all at once." Yi Qing said in surprise, "You know how to make tea? Are you kidding me? Not only do I know how to brew tea, but the tea I brew is unmatched." Yi Qing curled her lips and said, "Keep bragging. How dare you brag about your tea skills in front of the tea fairy? No matter how good you are, can you compare to the tea fairy?" Qin Haodong smiled slightly and did not speak. There was no need to argue about this kind of thing. Soon, everyone drank almost all the tea in their cups. Hua Mingrui, who was behind the bead curtain, said, "Friends, you have tasted the tea I made. Next, let's follow the old rules and enter the second stage of making friends with tea. After seeing everyone's tea art, this little girl will judge everyone. The top 3 can come in and have a cup of tea with this little girl. Let me go first." As soon as Hua Mingrui finished speaking, a young man in his 20s rushed to the front desk in a hurry. It was the person who claimed to have learned the tea art just now. There was a tea table at the front desk, and on the table was a set of fine purple clay tea set for the guests to brew tea. The young man picked up the tea set and began to warm the pot, roast the tea and rinse the water. The series of actions could be considered to be quite proper. However, Qin Haodong shook his head secretly. It was obvious that this person had just learned the tea ceremony and his attainments were very shallow. It was impossible for him to make good tea like this. Soon the young man finished brewing his tea. A maid brought a cup of tea into the bead curtain. However, Hua Mingrui just looked at it and frowned slightly. She put the teacup aside casually. She could not drink this kind of inferior tea at all. The young man stood outside the bead curtain. Although he could not see the appearance of the tea fairy, he could see her movements. When he saw that the fairy did not even touch his tea, he immediately knew that he had failed and could only walk off the stage resentfully. After that, several people who studied the tea ceremony went on the stage one after another, but the effect was not very good. Hua Mingrui, the tea fairy, did not give any comments. At this time there was a burst of applause and Qin Chong, the eldest young master of the Qin family, stepped onto the stage. Compared with those people in front of him, Qin Chong's tea art was indeed much better. His series of movements were smooth and he soon poured out a pot of fragrant tea. Qin Haodong smiled slightly. In order to pursue Wei Yanran, this guy had really put in a lot of effort in the tea ceremony. In time he would be able to reach the realm of overflowing tea fragrance. Although Qin Chong was wearing a hat, the pride on his face could still be seen. He poured the tea in his hand into 2 cups and asked the maid next to him to send it into the bead curtain. He stood outside and said, "Miss Hua, Miss Wei, please try the tea I made." Wei Yanran first picked up the teacup and took a sip, but she did not say anything. Hua Mingrui picked up the tea in her hand, sniffed it with her nose and then took a small sip. She nodded imperceptibly. Young Master Qin's tea art has indeed improved rapidly. Now he is almost at the threshold. In fact, if one thought about it carefully, Hua Mingrui's words were very vague. It could be said that she was praising him. However, from another perspective, she was reminding Qin Chong in a disguised way that he had not really entered the threshold of the tea ceremony yet. According to the rules of the tea art industry, only when he made a cup of tea that was overflowing with tea fragrance could he be considered to have crossed the threshold. However, Qin Chong was obviously still a little bit behind. However, Qin Chong did not hear the warning in her words. In his opinion, this was the greatest praise Hua Mingrui had given him. He raised his head and glanced around the audience, feeling proud of himself. In his opinion, he would definitely be in the top 3 today. He could go in and taste tea with Wei Yanran and the tea fairy. Looking at Qin Chong on the stage, Qin Haodong remembered when he was in primary school, the teacher had praised a backward student. So-and-so has made great progress recently. He has quickly improved from 20 points to 59 points. If he works harder, he will be able to pass. The Qin Chong in front of him was very similar to that backward student. However, Qin Chong obviously did not have the awareness of a backward student. On the contrary, it was as if he had won an international prize. Thinking of this, he could not help but laugh out loud. Qin Chong was standing on the stage showing off. When he heard the laughter, his face immediately darkened. He was considered a big shot in the capital. Who dared to laugh at him in public? He looked in the direction of the laughter and was surprised to see Qin Haodong and Yi Qin. His expression suddenly changed. It was the young man in front of him who had shaved the hair of his grandfather and grandchildren, causing his father to be away from the core of the Qin family. He also could not raise his head in the Qin family. He did not expect to meet him again here. He hated Qin Haodong to the bone, but he also knew the gap between them. If he fought, he would only be humiliating himself. He could only stare at him angrily, but did not dare to say anything. Suddenly he had an idea. I can't beat you, but it's always good to humiliate you. Qin Haodong, what are you laughing at? If you have the ability, come up and make a pot of tea. Let everyone see your tea skills. In his opinion, Qin Haodong could reach the 9th level of the supreme power realm at such a young age, so he must be immersed in cultivation all day long. It was impossible for him to know the tea ceremony. As long as he dared to go on the stage, he would definitely make a fool of himself and be laughed at. When the 2 people behind the bead curtain heard the name Qin Haodong, their bodies could not help but tremble slightly. Then Wei Yanran's expression changed greatly. The person who could be called by this name in the capital must be Qin Haodong, who was engaged to her, not the medical sage she had always admired. This hateful guy, even the name he came up with was hateful. He had the same name as his idol. When Qin Haodong saw Qin Chong asking him to go on the stage, he could not help shaking his head and said, I'm not interested. He did not need anyone's approval for his tea skills. If he competed with these people on the same stage, it would really damage his reputation. Hua Mingrui originally wanted to comfort Wei Yanran, but before she could speak, she suddenly heard Qin Haodong's words. She suddenly trembled as if she had been struck by lightning. Although they had only met once, she had already deeply imprinted Qin Haodong's voice in her mind. After hearing these words, she immediately realized that the person outside was the medical sage in her heart. Seeing that Qin Haodong did not dare to go on the stage, Qin Chong became more and more complacent. Are you not interested or afraid? Since you don't know the tea ceremony, don't laugh at others casually. The tea I make with one hand will be 100 times more fragrant than the tea you make. As he was speaking, he saw the bead curtain gently lifted and Hua Mingrui hurried out from inside. Her eyes hurriedly scanned the lobby, looking for the figure of that person. Wei Yanran did not know what was wrong with her best friend, so she also followed her out from inside. When Qin Chong saw the tea fairy and Wei Yanran suddenly coming out, he could not help but be overjoyed. This had never happened before. Today these 2 beauties must have been shocked by his tea skills, so they came out from behind the bead curtain. He hurriedly ran over and said, Tea fairy Yanran, I'm reprimanding a shameless man. He obviously doesn't know the tea ceremony, but he dares to laugh at others. This kind of person should not be allowed to attend our tea party in the future. While he was talking, he saw Hua Mingrui's expression change, and then she hurriedly ran in the direction of Qin Haodong. Everyone was shocked. The tea fairy had always been graceful and elegant, and she paid great attention to her appearance. She would not panic no matter what happened. What was wrong with her today? Hua Mingrui came to Qin Haodong's tea table and said excitedly, Mr. Qin, is it really you? When did you come to the capital? Hearing her question, Wei Yanran, who was following closely behind, trembled all over. Although Hua Mingrui did not say much, it was enough to prove that Mr. Qin was the medical sage of Jiangnan City, the idol she wanted to elope with. She had fantasized about Qin Haodong's appearance countless times, and she had also heard Hua Mingrue's praise many times, but she had never thought that he would be so handsome. For a moment she stood there in a daze as if she were a wooden sculpture. Qin Haodong did not expect that the tea fairy here was the one he knew. He quickly stood up and said, "It turns out to be the tea fairy. I didn't expect to meet you here. It seems that we are really fated." He was just saying it casually, but when Hua Mingrue thought of the conversation with Wei Yanran before, she blushed slightly. At this time Qin Chong came over. When he saw the situation in front of him, he felt that something was wrong. He said to Hua Mingrue, "Tea fairy, do you know him?" Hua Mingrue turned around and said to everyone in the lobby, "Everyone, let me introduce him to you. This is the tea ceremony master I mentioned to you before. He is Mr. Qin Haodong, who is able to make the pervading fragrance." Chapter 693. After hearing Hua Mingrue's words, there was an uproar in the lobby. The guests who often came to the tea party had heard her talk about the three realms of the tea ceremony. The aroma of tea was overflowing, returning to nature, and the fragrance was spreading everywhere. At the same time, they had also heard her mention that there was a tea ceremony master who could make the supreme realm of pervading fragrance. In everyone's impression, they subconsciously thought that this kind of tea ceremony master should be an old man, but they did not expect it to be this young man in front of them. Qin Chong suddenly felt his face burning, as if he had been slapped 100 times. Just now he had laughed at him for not knowing how to make tea, but in the blink of an eye, he had become a tea ceremony master. Even the tea fairy had to be respectful to him. After the introduction, Hua Mingrue turned around and said to Qin Haodong respectfully, "Mr. Qin, since I saw your tea ceremony last time, my skills have also improved. I can barely be regarded as having reached the primary level of pervading fragrance. Can you give me some advice and let everyone see what the real pervading fragrance is?" Before Qin Haodong could respond, Yi Qing pinched his waist and shouted, "You brat, you've hidden yourself so well. You stinking brat, you've hidden yourself so well. You're actually an expert in the way of tea. Why don't you brew tea for me normally?" Wei Yanran had just recovered from her petrified state. When she saw the two of them being intimate, she felt very envious. She wished that she could be the one standing next to Qin Haodong. Qin Haodong said with a wry smile, "Sister, I don't usually have time." Yi Qing cried, "Then make it for me now. I don't believe that the tea you make can be better than the tea fairies." The tea fairy hurriedly said, "Sister, you must be joking. How can the tea I make be compared with Mr. Qin?" The more respectful and modest Hua Mingrue was, the more curious Yi Qing became. She took Qin Haodong to the front desk and asked him to make a pot of tea for her to taste. Qin Haodong could not refuse, so he picked up the tea set and began to make tea. All the guests in the lobby watched quietly. They wanted to see what was so special about the tea ceremony master that Hua Mingrue respected. But soon these people found that Qin Haodong's way of making tea was too simple. It was no different from making tea at home. He did not have the demeanor of a tea master at all. Usually when Hua Mingrue made tea, she was as smooth as flowing water, which was pleasing to the eye. Even Qin Chang's performance just now was very beautiful, but Qin Haodong didn't have any of that. Some people even thought that Hua Mingrue had made a mistake. She thought that Qin Haodong was a tea ceremony master just because he was handsome. As the saying goes, it's not the wine that intoxicates you but yourself. Although the tea in front of him was not wine, the principle might be the same. Under many surprised and doubtful eyes, Qin Haodong quickly made a pot of tea. "Well, have a taste." Hearing him say that the tea was ready, Yi Qing's eyes widened. Looking at the ordinary purple clay teapot in front of him, without the slightest aroma, he asked in surprise, "Your tea seems to be even better than mine, right?" The tea fairy quickly said, "Sister, Mr. Qin's tea-making technique has reached the realm of returning to simplicity. Please don't misunderstand." Yi Qing said, "Didn't you say that you have reached the realm of pervading fragrance? Why is there no fragrance at all?" Qin Haodong smiled, picked up the purple clay teapot in front of him, and poured a cup of tea for Yi Qing. When the clear tea flowed out of the teapot, a strong fragrance instantly spread out. This kind of tea fragrance was not only refreshing, but also extremely strong. In an instant, it filled the entire lobby and soon spread throughout the tea house. Even the pedestrians on the street could smell this tea fragrance. "It's so fragrant. It's so fragrant. I've lived for most of my life, but I've never smelled such a strong tea fragrance. What is this fragrance? It smells so good. It seems that my cold is much better. Where is this fragrance coming from? It seems to be from Jingdong Tea House. I'm going to have a taste of good tea. It's so fragrant." After the people on the street confirmed that the fragrance was coming from Jingdong Tea House, they immediately swarmed into the tea house. In the lobby of the tea house, the guests smelled the strong fragrance. Some of them slowly closed their eyes with a look of enjoyment, while others looked at the fragrant tea that Qin Haodong had poured out. They couldn't wait to grab it and pour it into their mouths. Qin Haodong divided the pot of tea into 3 cups and pushed them in front of Hua Mingrui, Yi Qin, and Wei Yanran respectively. Yi Qin grabbed her teacup and drank it up in a few gulps. She looked like Zhu Beiji eating ginseng fruits. Hua Mingrui held the teacup in her hand as if she was holding a peerless treasure. Then she took a sip with an intoxicated and happy look on her face. Wei Yanran glanced at Qin Haodong with a shy look on her face. Then she slowly picked up the teacup in her hand and took a sip. As soon as the tea entered her mouth, she felt as if every cell in her body had been moistened by this rich fragrant tea. A kind of happiness arose spontaneously in her heart. She felt very happy and blissful. She even smiled. This smile was completely from the bottom of her heart, without any impurities. Her smile was extremely sweet. Qin Haodong was looking at Wei Yanran, the woman who wanted to be engaged to him. When he saw her smile, his eyes lit up. He had 500 years of experience and had seen countless beautiful women. Even now, there was no lack of beautiful women around him. But Wei Yanran's smile was too beautiful. As the saying went, a sweet smile could charm 100 people and cause the downfall of a country. It was a description of the quiet girl in front of him. Just when everyone was silent in this atmosphere, Yi Qing suddenly shouted, "This tea is so delicious. Do you have any more? Hurry up and pour me another cup." As she spoke, she grabbed the teapot from Qin Haodong's hand and poured all the remaining tea into her cup. But she still felt like it was not enough. Hua Mingrui put down the teacup in her hand, turned her head and said to the guests present, "Everyone, have you seen it? This is the real pervading fragrance. Compared with Mr. Qin, my tea art can only be regarded as a small skill." The guests present were extremely excited. After hearing Hua Mingrui's words, they kept nodding and looked at Qin Haodong with awe. At this moment, Qin Chong had quietly slipped out of the tea house. He had thought that Qin Haodong must have spent all his time on martial arts since he had reached the 9th level of the Supreme Power Realm at such a young age. But he did not expect that Qin Haodong was also a master in tea art. Even the tea fairy was ashamed of herself. He had just provoked such a person. In comparison, he was like a clown. He could not help but sigh in his heart. They were both descendants of the Qin family, but why was there such a big gap between them? In the lobby, many guests smelled this fragrance, but they could not get this top-grade tea. They were still tempted. A young guest shouted, "Mr. Qin, I'll pay 100,000 yuan for your pot of tea. How about it?" As soon as he opened his mouth, someone immediately shouted, "This is a good tea with the highest attainments in the tea ceremony. How can 100,000 yuan be enough? I'll pay 500,000 yuan. I'll pay 1 million yuan, Mr. Qin. As long as you make me a pot of tea, I'll immediately transfer 1 million yuan to your account. I'll pay 2 million yuan. I'll pay 3 million yuan. In less than 2 minutes, the price of Qin Haodong's pot of tea had been raised to 10 million yuan. Even though he was the executive president of Haodong Group and had a lot of wealth in his hands, Yi Qing still smacked his lips after hearing the figure of 10 million yuan for a pot of tea. Didn't it mean that he had just drunk 3 million yuan? Qin Haodong waved his hand to the crowd below the stage and said, "I'm sorry everyone. I only make this tea for the people closest to me. I won't sell it even if it costs a lot of money." Hearing that he would not sell it no matter how much money he offered, there was a burst of sighs. At this time Hua Mingrui said, "Today's tea party is over. Please go back." Although these guests were full of regret, the tea fairy had already asked them to leave, so they could only leave with regret on their faces. The lobby suddenly quieted down, leaving only Qin Haodong and the other 3 people. At this time Wei Yanran looked intoxicated. Just now he said that his tea was only for the people closest to him. Since she had drunk a cup of tea, didn't that mean that she was also the person closest to him? Hua Mingrui turned around and said to Qin Haodong, "Mr. Qin, I want to ask you why I can't make good tea no matter how hard I try. Miss Hua, we're all friends. There's no need to be so polite. Otherwise we'll be estranged." Thinking of the title Miss Hua, Qin Haodong couldn't help but smile. He felt that it was a little inappropriate, so he quickly said, "In the tea ceremony the first test is the skill, but in the end, it's actually the state of mind. If a person sits at home and doesn't experience the vicissitudes of the world, it's absolutely impossible to make the best tea. Only after experiencing more and having a good state of mind can you reach the highest level of the tea ceremony. What you lack now is not the skill but the state of mind. As long as the state of mind is good enough, you will naturally be able to make the pervading fragrance. After hearing this, Hua Mingrui was suddenly enlightened. She finally knew what she lacked, but soon a trace of doubt arose in her heart. The young man in front of her looked a little younger than her. How did he cultivate his state of mind? Could it be that he had experienced a lot? At this moment she suddenly felt someone tugging at the corner of her clothes. She turned her head and saw Wei Yanran standing behind her. Her delicate face was full of shyness. They grew up together, so she naturally knew what her best friend was thinking. She said to Qin Haodong, "Mr. Qin, let me introduce you. This is my best friend Wei Yanran." "Hello Mr. Qin. I'm Yanran." With Hua Mingrui's introduction, Wei Yanran restrained her shyness and took the initiative to greet him. Qin Haodong said, "I've heard of Miss Wei's name a long time ago. You're so charming with a smile. It's really true today." Wei Yanran said, "Mr. Qin, you must be joking. Have you really heard of my name?" "Of course, Miss Wei is one of the 3 beauties in the capital. How could I not have heard of you?" Seeing that her sweetheart had heard of her name, Wei Yanran felt happy as if she had drunk honey. She had already fallen in love with Qin Haodong after hearing Hua Mingrui's story. Today she could not help but fall in love with him. However, when she thought of the marriage arranged by her family, she could not help but look sad. Hua Mingrui said, "Mr. Qin, this is not a place to talk. Please come to my room." After that, she led Qin Haodong and Yi Qing out of the lobby and to her room. After entering the room, Qin Haodong saw the picture of winter plum blossoms on the wall at a glance. He was slightly stunned at first and then he smiled. He had just casually painted it with a teddy, which was nothing at all. He did not expect that Hua Mingrui would hang it here. After sitting down, Wei Yanran said, "Mr. Qin, I've liked painting since I was a child. I've heard from Mingrui that your painting skills are excellent. I'm lucky to see you today. Can you paint for me?" You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.